no voice after the game. He's like, I've narrated a book today. That's awesome. I mean, I don't know if Josh Dobbs, although, hell, he may start a playoff game for all we know.
All I know is my playoff teams are still looking really strong.
Mark Super Bowl champions on a roll.
Cincy Philly Super Bowl. Tampa and Atlanta did wonders to help New Orleans with that division.
Atlanta especially.
Oh, Minnesota's still hanging around.
Yeah, they're the 7. I don't want to tell anybody, but the Detroit Lions are the 2 this morning.
The Baltimore Ravens are really good.
And they're like, listen, just don't talk about us. Just keep talking about Kansas City and Miami and hell, even talk some Jags. So whatever you do, just leave us alone. We're 7-2. We should be 9-0. That's a whole other story.
And we are destroying.
All I know is if they get to the Super Bowl, I'm taking out a second mortgage because we know how they do against the NFC. My God. Look at KW, Ambient, Paul. Morning. Coffin Bar. Who am I missing? Okay. So, hello, friends. KW already sending us links. It's not even 6 a.m. That's when you know you people are fired up. Look at this. All before 6 a.m. Popping Jake, Napo, Stumpy, T. Haynes. What's up? Trent, how was your weekend?
Great. A lot of good football. Michigan State won, too, so that was a nice little bonus on the Lions bye week.
Oh, my goodness. The Big Ten West just fell apart.
Yes. Oh, it was just another example.
That Michigan State-Nebraska, I had it on TV, too.
Listen, it was better than Iowa Northwestern.
Well, there were 5 baseball games or 6 baseball games at Wrigley that had more runs scored in it than there were points in the Iowa Northwestern game.
Please, they had an offensive explosion. They had 10 points in the final 3 minutes.
Indiana, Wisconsin, too.
Well, although it was nice of Bielema to ruin PJ Fleck's life.
Yeah.
Because Minnesota had the inside track in the Big Ten West.
What a joke that division is.
Yeah, we will never have to worry about it again.
No, never have to worry about any of these teams again. It's the last year of relevancy.
And the madness. Not going to get any more of these Pac-12 shootouts either, though.
Boy, how fun is that conference this year?
Yeah, just every game is like over 70 points.
Anybody want to hire the Arizona coach? Anybody? They're also 8-1 against the number.
And you don't take them every week.
And I've only played them twice this year.
You've only been all over this guy
since July. Telling everybody they were going to be the sleeper team of the Pac-12 this year, and I don't bet them. They just got done. They went 3. They played 5 ranked teams in a row. They went 3-2 straight up. They lost by a touchdown to Washington. They lost in overtime to USC. How about that? How about that little 5-game stretch? If they finish strong, I'd make him Pac-12 Coach of the Year. I don't care about the Washington and Oregon guys, honestly. Ambien, I've been saying that for over a month.
He knows.
Here we go in 10.
Here we are. First time cue of the week. But it's appropriate.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. We only do 3 hours along the network. We do 4 in Southwest Florida. I don't know if it's enough time. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton after a glorious football weekend. Does it possibly have one more still left in them? It's why I'm in Lower Manhattan, Chargers and Jets. I don't know. We'll get to that about 8 hours from now. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How was your football weekend?
It was fantastic. It really was. You know, I had to sneak away to pick up the wife from the airport right at the end of the Florida-Arkansas game, right at the end of the noon games. Had to go pick up the wife who flew back into town, but that was my only break from football the entire weekend, and it just delivered. It really delivered. What a great football weekend.
Did you pull over into the cell phone lot just to be able to either watch on your phone or listen on the radio? And when she's texting you going, hey, where are you? You know, you say, just caught in traffic, honey, 5 minutes.
You know, I actually am lucky. I didn't, because I have the beauty of being able to watch. My house is at the perfect distance that if my wife checks a bag, when she hits the ground and texts me and says, I've landed, I leave the house, drive right to baggage claim, and if everything works out right, she should be walking out at that exact time. I did, however, have to, because of it, I had to leave during overtime of Florida and Arkansas and got to listen to the Gator broadcast of the Arkansas touchdown in overtime. Nothing like the losing call in a college radio game to set the mood.
A crushing defeat, too.
Oh, man.
Because
Great
we all
game.
know.
Crushing defeat.
Yes. Terrific game. And, you know, it just goes to show you can have 5-3, play 3-5, and the game can still, you know, mean a lot, or 3-6, or whatever the case was for Arkansas. But a crushing defeat because we all know what it could lead to. And let's be honest. That's 2 in a row, and they're playing 3 nationally ranked teams to end the season, 2 of them on the road. I mean, 2 in a row could become 5 in a row. 5-2 could lead to 5-7. And do we want the poll question of the day to be, is Billy Napier going to be the Gators coach in 2024? I mean, we have 37 nominees for the poll question of the day today, but that's my first nomination.
Well, we're about 5 in the hole. I mean, we've missed a lot in the past week, so we could levitate this thing today and get back into the good graces of the audience by having multiple poll questions.
You know, it's kind of like Moulton falling behind and below 500, and then instead of making 5 picks a week, starts making 7, 8, 11, 13. We could do the same with poll questions. You know, make sure that we do a couple of days of a crazy number so that this way we've got a few in the bank for when we forget poll questions once again. And that was the noon game Saturday. And I felt as if that got us, you know, that got the juices flowing.
It really did, because Georgia, Missouri was a game for a while.
A good while. It was 24-21 early fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, that was a game.
27-21, Missouri had the ball with 6 minutes to go. I mean, come on now. Can't ask for more than that.
No.
2 touchdown dogs, got the ball mid-fourth quarter with a chance to take the lead. Come on now. Had a big fella interception.
He was a rumbling, even though there was a penalty. That was a hell of a rumble.
He was. That was 2.7 on the Richter scale in Athens. That was tremendous. Not only that, Georgia's big fellas are a little bit bigger than most everybody else's. Most places that'd be a 300-pound guy with the interception. At Georgia, that's about 328. Oh, that's a big fella right there. And then the night games were entertaining. I mean, it's funny. We had two notable upsets on Saturday, and yet everybody agreed it was a great day of football.
Well, you go back to the noon games. Rutgers has a lead at halftime on Ohio State.
And they're driving to start the third quarter, and they're at the edge of the red zone. And then one of the flukiest pick sixes that you'll ever see, with a guy open inside the 10, ball gets deflected, DB catches it, and goes about 88 yards.
Texas and K-State at the noon tilt was a terrific football game.
Okay. All right. Here we go. You're down 3 in overtime. All right. It's 4th and goal at the 4. Were you okay with him going for the win?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
No.
Thank you. Come on. You guy just kicked the 40-something yard field goal. You kicked the 22-yarder, and you get the ball right back.
This wasn't Houston and Tampa where there wasn't a field goal kicker available, David.
Thank you.
No.
And I got to be honest, Mark.
And if it was on the 2, I'm probably okay with it.
But not the 4.
Not the 4.
Golly. And no offense, if you knew you were going to go for it on 4th and goal from the 4, then on 2nd and goal at the 4, should your play calling have been different? I mean, did you know on 2nd down that you had 3 more plays to score here? Because if so, you might want to run the ball again on 2nd down. I'm not so sure you're throwing the ball into the end zone 3 times. Man, oh man. So good. I'm glad at least that you wanted him to kick the field goal.
And let's be honest. I mean, I don't know how many people love Dabo these days because of his comments to Tyler and Spartanburg there. But anytime Notre Dame gets whacked early in the day, most people feel good about it, David.
Clemson did not have a penalty in the game. They played a perfect game. I don't believe they had a turnover, and they didn't have a penalty. I mean, for a guy who, is under a lot of heat, that team's under a lot of heat. They'd lost 4 games, for goodness sakes. I mean, that's calling the National Guard in Clemson, South Carolina, with the way things have been going for 10 years. And they played great. Good for them. You can have key games, even though, you're not in the national championship picture. It was a big game for Arkansas. Sam Pittman was nearly crying at the end of the game. He knows what he's trying to fight off here. This is his one shot to be a head coach at the place where he wants to be a head coach. He's never going to be a head coach anywhere else. This is it. He's fighting for a program here. They had lost every single conference game by 1 score. And here they are staring at another defeat.
By 1 score.
As the Gator kicker is lining up. By the way, should have been lining up a 39-yard field goal. Man, oh man. Between their special teams and their management, if you will. I mean, how many substitution penalties do the Gators need to have until they figure out it's 11 guys on the field? Okay? You can't have 12 in a huddle. I mean, it's November. Listen, I'm willing to excuse week 1 at Utah. I am. Apparently, Gator Nation's not. I am. It's week 1. Blank happens. Week 9? Come on.
Being unorganized on the sideline, running out your kicking team when...
I mean, there's a little bit of a difference between a 39-yard and a 44-yard field goal. Come on now. It's important. Details. But anyway, Clemson, Arkansas. How about Army going to Air Force and ruining their season?
Well, what you just described was just the noon. Then you get to 3:30. You have Bedlam. You have Pitt. You have Pitt taking Florida State as hard as you want for a half and making sure that Florida State knows every game they play the rest of the way is going to be a fight. We already talked about Georgia and Missouri. I mean, it just kept going.
Can we go back to Bedlam? I mean, think about it. They've been playing this for over 100 years. Big brother is leaving little brother behind. He's leaving the family. He's saying, after this dinner, I'm never going to speak to you again. He's Pacino at the wake, kissing his brother on the lips. And little brother's got one shot. This is it. Got one chance. He knows one day he's going to get in a rowboat and he's going to go fishing and the boat's going to blow up. But this is his shot. And they come back gritty, gutty, fourth quarter, heart, soul. Folks of Stillwater will remember it forever. And did you hear the song they played when the game was over? And everybody's basking in the glow. Taylor Swift's got a song in which it's, we are never, ever, ever, ever going to get back together again. Okay? That's the song they played for Oklahoma as they walked off the field.
Gundy didn't beat him that often. His record was really not that good against Oklahoma.
No.
But he got the last one.
He's a legend now.
He sure as hell is.
He's a legend now. He even said, he goes, I never spend any time post-game. I shake hands, I walk off the field. He goes, yeah, I hung around this one. He goes, I took this one in. He's only the third Big 12 coach, by the way, to, I think, is it 100 wins? Which I'm trying to think, how did Tom Osborne not have 100 wins? I mean, for goodness sakes, he went 7-1 or 8-0 in the conference every damn year. How'd he not get to 100? But anyway, but supposedly it's like Snyder, Stoops, and now Gundy. I don't know. Maybe it's a Big 12 thing.
Yeah, that's what it probably is. The Big 8 doesn't count, David.
Well, plus they're no longer in the count, right? That all those wins are Big 10 wins now, Mark. Is that it?
I can't tell if he's a legend or a leader.
All I know is coming up Wednesday at 8 o'clock, the 1994 Nebraska Cornhusker team on Big Ten Network.
Followed by John Wooden, a Big Ten legend.
That's spectacular. Man, this is just Saturday.
There's just no need to be snarky right now because we haven't even gotten to Saturday night yet, let alone Sunday.
Let alone Sunday. Hell, they even started early for us, whether we were ready or not.
And the Dolphins do what the Dolphins do against good teams. They lose.
They weren't ready. They were ready for about 11 a.m. 9:30 was a little early for Miami.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. 0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
That's a solid suggestion about National Nachos Day, a nacho-related poll question. That's solid.
I don't know. Is Billy Napier done at Florida? Seems like the. Which coach gets fired first? Todd Bowles, Billy Napier.
Mario Cristobal.
Four turnovers. I didn't watch a second of the Canes game.
For who?
The Canes.
That's all right. They didn't play a second of it.
How about the two calls in the Cowboys game? They're both the right calls, but how about him going down an inch before going into the end zone and then stepping out of bounds a foot before go? I mean, that's remarkable in one game. He played really well. I'm not a Dak guy. Dak played really well.
Made up for all the bad officiating in the Cincinnati Buffalo game.
A lot of flags in the Miami KC game, too. And Carolina got the wrong guy.
Yeah, how about Stroud? That was
How about Stroud? Hey,
that game-winning pass too. That was kind of a risk.
do you know what George is saying? George is now going, yeah, we weren't too bad in that national semifinal against him and them, huh? We held them to 40 or whatever we held them to. By the way, he had better receivers at Ohio State.
It ain't close.
That was $7 right there. That felt good.
What was it?
Pringles.
Just a little thing of them like this?
Oh, yeah.
$7, huh?
$7.
I get I buy 3 cases of those, so 36 of those. Comes in one rack at Costco for about $15.
Well, I just ate half of them.
Wow.
Yep. $4.69 a night. I think they got a discount here at the Conrad. By the way, it's in Lower Manhattan. The game is in Jersey. Took me an hour to get through the Holland Tunnel last night.
Back in 10 seconds.
Man, was I happy.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour, top of the morning to you. How the heck are you? Hope you had a great weekend. And let me tell you, if you watched football, unless it was your team that lost, I mean, even in some cases, man, it was just a great weekend anyway. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Although we've got a few people in the Twitch chat room, Mark, who are Canes/Dolphin fans. And they're like, yeah, this is not that great a weekend. What the hell are you two talking about?
No, see, this is where, David, you have to remember we are on the Florida Sports Network, and there aren't many teams in the state of Florida that had a good weekend. It was a terrific football weekend.
Right, except in the state of Florida.
Right.
Where Jags fans like, we might have had the best weekend in the state. Although UCF got their first Big 12 win.
Congratulations.
How about that?
You beat Cincinnati.
You did. So you beat another one of, you guys, the
Beat
new
one of your
members.
own, basically.
Well, right. But it counts. It goes in the books anyway. So, and I will say, though, Florida State at least doing what you want your team to be able to do, right? Just win the games you're supposed to win.
Play bad and win. They, didn't have the receiver. You're allowed to have a clunker. You just can't lose when you have it.
Yeah. Right. I mean, they went on the road and they got to win. And that Miami fan's kind of like, man, I can't wait till we get to the point again where we can go on the road and have things go badly and guys not available and just, take our workmanlike win and get back on the plane. We're still talking about teams on Saturday. I'm not kidding when I say this. I didn't think there was a football team alive, and that includes plays on Sundays, who could score 35 points and a half against the USC football team. Think about the talent that USC has their hands on. They give up 5 touchdowns and a half against any football team with a pulse, including those that play on Sunday. I think NFL 35 points. You basically have to be perfect. Have to have an entire half in which all you do is score touchdowns. I mean, USC's got talent, Mark. All the time. I mean, how do you give up 35 points and a half? I mean, really? What is that, the greatest show on turf? Is that Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Holt, and Bruce? I mean, seriously. 5
David,
Hall of Famers?
USC Washington looked like flag football.
Just
looked like flag football. I'm sorry. That didn't even resemble football.
Wow. That's nuts. But anyway.
It was fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Very much so. I just don't know how good it is.
Although I don't know how much better the LSU defense was.
Well, and not much. Not much, but at least they held Alabama to 21 points in each half. I mean, it's not 35. My goodness. This just in, the Alabama quarterback scored another touchdown. Wow. He did have a Cam Newton run in that game.
Both just scored.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. We've been on the air now for 25 minutes. I believe the score is 21-17 in the Washington USC game. That's not game minutes. That's just minutes on the clock. But honestly, Mark, Milroe, the Alabama quarterback, he had a Cam Newton run. I had, 18 years, been lucky enough to have a really good seat for some outstanding SEC football. The only guy who had ever literally kicked it into another gear with top-notch talent chasing him, in which he looked like Secretariat on a racehorse, was Cam Newton. Cam Newton had Patrick Peterson coming after him, okay, and Peterson had the angle. And Newton saw him and kicked it into another gear and outran Peterson for 30 more yards into the end zone. And it was like, whoa. Took your breath away. It was like Michael Johnson on the track in Atlanta in 96. I mean, honestly, oh, snap. Yeah, Milroe had a 20-yard touchdown run against LSU that was like that. He's running along the line of scrimmage. He's running east and west, and he decides, I think it's time to turn this and go north. And it was like, one of those automobiles in a cartoon in which all of a sudden the jet propeller, and it was like, oh, damn. It is fun to see one guy and a team improve throughout the course of the season, right? I mean, 7 weeks ago, he in Alabama sucked. Hey, terrible.
He got benched against South Florida.
South Florida. He was not good enough to be one of the first two quarterbacks off bench to play against South Florida. And Nick's old. He sucks. He's got to retire. Alabama's not Alabama anymore. It's just take a deep breath. Let great coaches coach. Let the 4 and 5 stars just give them an hour and a half. Get through this. This too shall pass. We haven't gotten to Sunday yet. The Dolphins and Chiefs kicked off. I'm just about ready for the NFL. I just about have Saturday out of my system. Can the NFL happen now? Whew.
Miami needs a couple more hours to get ready.
Apparently they do.
Doesn't matter that they went over 5 days early. I don't know if it was too much beer.
And let's be honest, if we had said the Dolphins were going to hold the Chiefs to 21, what pick would you all have made? If we had said that the Dolphins would hold the Chiefs to less than 50 yards of offense in a half, what would your pick in the game have been? Dolphins held the Chiefs to 2 offensive touchdowns and lost. Ouch.
It's because the Chiefs right now are better on that side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, than they are on the offensive side of the ball. We would have never thought that, but right now they are.
And I guess what we're all wondering is the Chiefs' offense kind of like Alabama? Is there room there to grow? Or is what we're seeing really all we're going to get? Because if that's the case, Mark, I kind of like some of the horses coming on the outside in the AFC. This just in, the one in Baltimore has hit its stride.
The one in Cincinnati is running right behind the one in Baltimore, too.
And their jockeys got like diamond headphones on, too. That Cincinnati horse is a jockey with diamond headphones on. Man, he looks good going down the track. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's really helpful if you have a Joe Burrow.
And if you don't have a Joe Burrow,
it's
you just keep trying to find one.
Right. What do you want? I want one of those. Well, there's only one of those. We can't. I need one of those. I mean, even Brittany Mahomes is impressed with Joe Burrow. That's how good he is, okay? Crack myself up sometimes.
As well you should. Someone's got to laugh at it.
Thought it was pretty funny.
I did too, but
probably
it's also not even 6:30 yet.
Yeah, I know.
Starting 5 coming up. Chris Landry on the show today. We'll break down everything Sunday as well, as we've talked a lot of Saturday so far. It was a
Wait.
sensational football weekend.
They played football on Sunday?
They did.
Wow.
They started at 9:30 in the morning. Fortunately, next week you don't have to watch the 9:30 time slot.
Oh, they got another one?
Yeah, they do.
It's not Dolphins and Chiefs?
No. It's Indy and New England. You can take that one off.
Whoa,
Miller
it's
and
Peyton
Moulton.
and Brady?
I'm sure they'll reference it a lot. The starting five is next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
It is.
Yeah, my bad on that one. We should be good now.
Okay. And Trent, unfortunately, because the signals that we're on in the 239 are so bad, the app is crucial. So,
Gotcha.
and for whatever reason, 2-3 times a week, we're not on in the morning. It's almost like we have to switch ourselves on. I don't know why that is. I think it's after they play by play that it's not positioned, and so they were probably carrying Sunday Night Football last night, and I don't know, but
yeah, I'll just get in the habit of I'll just click it every time regardless of if it's on or not. Just
awesome.
make sure.
Sonny, that's interesting. Do the Gators need a Tyler from Ocala? They got a lot of Tylers behind the scenes. Well, Adam, if you want to get a headline and you're a baseball team, I think the day to make a major move is Sunday night. I think that's the time, especially within 12 hours of free agency getting underway.
I think it's a good hire, but it doesn't matter. They wouldn't report it. It doesn't matter when they'd report it. They're two markets that don't care about their baseball teams. He threw for 470 yards.
He did. He did, but I mean, Mark, it was only 395 before the final drive. I mean, they held him under 400 till the very end. Hell, even Todd Bowles had to admit that was a tough one. Oh, KW. How about over under Christmas? Oh, Adam, relax. The Texans are a good year away.
Yeah, not this year. Do you think this is
And
kind
rem-
of funny because like Bryce Young was the sure number one, right? That's what everyone was saying.
No.
What Carolina, I guess, what we knew they were picking Bryce Young for months.
Yes, for them,
Yes.
he was number one. But remember, they had to trade up to one. So if others had traded up to one, it would have gone differently.
Right. So they kind of, we knew who their guy was. It's just, I always find that stuff interesting when halfway through the season, the other guy's outperforming the other, but it's like they were never really considering taking the other guy. So it's always weird balance.
Plus, Adam, remember, Houston doesn't have a first-round pick next year. They traded it to move up to take Will Anderson. Trent, you getting situated? Car, living arrangements, everything?
Somewhat. Slow
Okay.
and steady. Yeah. I don't know. Had a good weekend, though. It was good to just kind of chill out. All right, we're
Okay.
back in 3.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, Florida Sports. "22 minutes before the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. Chris Landry to join us in a little more than an hour. It was a glorious football weekend. We are looking back and maybe looking ahead, and not just to tonight's football game of the Jets and the Chargers, which has major AFC playoff ramifications. Don't know if everybody realizes just how much. We've barely talked Sunday football yet in the show. We're starting our third segment. How about if I actually talk a little NFL here? Is that okay?
Works for me.
Time now for...
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting 5 on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
You see, the Dolphins don't beat teams with a winning record. And if you spot the team with a winning record 21 points, it's really difficult to win. Miami did that to the Chiefs, made a game of it, had a shot. If it was a prize fight, you're looking for the 3 extra rounds added, looking to take the 12-rounder, make it a 15-rounder, but not to be. Chiefs 21, Dolphins 14. Both teams headed in their bye. KC at 7-2, Miami at 6-3. We said going in, Mark, no moral victories in this game. Now that the game has played itself out, you taking any positives out of this?
No. It's another team they played that was above 500. They laid an egg in the first half. No, I can't take any moral victories out of it. Their defense played really well. I'll give their defense a lot of credit for how they played. That was a sensational effort. So I guess I can take one, but they didn't win.
I'm with you. You can see the defense has come together. This is 2 weeks in a row, by the way. They haven't given up 300 yards of offense to their opponent. But they lost. They are still in first, however, in the AFC East. Tough one for Tampa Bay. I mean, in fact, you wonder going forward whether or not they're going to overcome this. Because Baker Mayfield threw a touchdown to Cade Otton with 46 seconds to go, and that gave the Bucs the win at 37-33. This sucker's over. Except C.J. Stroud said, have you not watched me play today? Never mind leading up to today. I've got 2 timeouts left, 46 seconds, 75 yards. Seriously? Done. In fact, I'll even give you 5 seconds. And so Stroud, down the field, bip, bop, boop, bip, touchdown. 6 seconds to go. Houston 39-37. Interesting little situation developed in that game. The kicker hurt his quad, and he couldn't kick. And it turns out that the backup kicker is a running back. Now, they went for 2 after 3 of their touchdowns, and they went 1 for 3 on the 2-point conversion. So, in theory, they left a point on the field. But they got it down inside the 10 and decided, well, if we're ever going to send the guy out for a field goal, I guess this is close enough. And they sent the running back out for a field goal in a tie game, and he snuck that little 26-yarder in there. Turned out to be a big kick at the end of the day.
Look, and I feel bad for Tampa, but the crowd going nuts on that kick, everything about that was cool. It just happened to stink that it was against the team that we'd like to see win.
That's 4 losses in a row for Tampa Bay, too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They host Tennessee coming up. And maybe that'll give them some room for optimism. But, Mark, I would say that was one of the really 2 cool moments, as you described it, in the NFL yesterday. The Texans running back, serving as kicker, making the field goal. First time, by the way, since Wes Welker in 2004 that a non-kicker punter had made a kick, that a position player had kicked successfully in an NFL game. It was nearly 20 years. But what Josh Dobbs did in Atlanta for the Vikings is just ridiculous. See, at this time last week, he was the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona
He was
Cardinals
playing a little too well for Arizona. I mean, they were coming close to winning games, and that is not what Arizona wants to do this year.
Right. And so you figured they'd hold on to him, and when Kyler Murray's ready in a week or so, then he'd be Kyler Murray's backup. Well, Cousins gets hurt, and Cousins calls Arizona, and Arizona goes, sure, you want him? I mean, he was just keeping the seat warm till Kyler got ready, and Kyler's just about ready. Yeah, sure. How about a 6th-round pick? So Dobbs shows up for practice on Wednesday. He doesn't take a single snap all week with the first team. They're getting this rookie from BYU ready because he hasn't taken many snaps with the first team either. They had Kirk Cousins. What do we need this kid for? So Dobbs ends up having to come into the game in the second quarter because the rookie gets a concussion. He's done. During the course of the game, he loses his one of his top 2 running backs and a wide receiver to injury. So Dobbs is out there, and he literally doesn't even know his teammates' names. He doesn't know the plays. The head coach is calling the play in his ear and explaining to him what every play is. Dobbs scores 3 touchdowns, passing and running. Leads them down the field. They fell behind with 2:06 to go, and they needed a touchdown. Yeah, he takes them right down the field, and, bada bing, bada boom, 22 seconds ago, touchdown, Vikings, 31-28 over Atlanta. Big win, too, because now Minnesota's 5-4, Atlanta's 4-5. That's the difference between one team being in the playoffs and the other team being out. Dobbs was asked after the game, do you know your teammates' names? And he said, quote, no, that's for next week. Well, the Philly-Dallas game lived up to the hype, huh?
It did.
We'll take it. Can that be a best of 7, right? Is that like a 3-2 hockey game with the team that lost, having pulled the goalie and just, peppering shots at the net in the final 2 minutes? Jalen Hurts, banged up, limping, 3 touchdowns. Dak, 374 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. But Philly's just a little bit better, and Dallas came so close.
Man, did they ever.
Inches away from a touchdown. Ruled down short of the goal line. Right call. Dak looked like he converted a 2-point conversion, but he stepped out barely, foot on the line before he crossed the goal line. 28-23 Eagles are 8-1. They're the only 8-1 team in the NFC. Cowboys right now are the 6th seed, the second wild card at 5-3. Hey, this just in, the Ravens are really good. Don't tell anybody. Let's just keep talking about Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, the exciting Dolphins. Hell, even talk about the Jags. Okay, but whatever you do, Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Okay, but whatever you do, don't talk about the Ravens. They outgained Seattle 515 to 151. It's an NFL team. To a first-place team, by the way. They rushed for 298 yards, Mark. 298. This is not Oklahoma in the mid-'80s against Baylor. I mean, damn. 37-3 over Seattle, and I don't even know if the game was that close.
37-3. A couple weeks ago, Detroit came in. They beat them 38-6.
Right.
Those are division leaders in the NFC that they toyed with.
That's 75-9, by the way, if you're keeping track at home, against 2 playoff teams. And as Mark said, when they came in, 2 first-place teams. The Bengals, they beat the Bills 24-18. Joe Burrow, 348 and 2 touchdowns. The Bills are 5-4. The Bills would miss the playoffs if the playoffs started today. Do you know the whole AFC North would be in the playoffs if the playoffs started today? Huh? That's right. The wild cards would be Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati in that order. Huh? How about that?
How about being that 2 seed and getting Cincinnati in a first-round matchup?
Yep. Which right now would be Baltimore.
Oh, man.
Vegas beat the Giants 30-6. Antonio Pierce showing coaching's not that hard. I mean, and by the way, does that show how much they hated Josh McDaniels? Oh, man. They hadn't scored more than 21 points in a game all year. Okay, Josh Jacobs rushed for nearly 100 yards. Daniel Jones of the Giants, they feared he tore his ACL. Tommy DeVito is going to be the Giants quarterback for the rest of the year. I think the Giants suddenly are in the mix for the number 1 pick of the draft. They're 2-7. How many more wins do you think they're going to get the rest of the year? Over under a half. Tommy DeVito. No relation to Danny. Cleveland shut out Arizona 27-0. Deshaun Watson came back through 2 touchdowns. The Saints, despite the Bears committing 5 turnovers, Chicago actually had a chance to tie the game late. Saints beat them 24-17. Taysom Hill is a fantasy god. 2 more touchdowns. Green Bay, Jordan Love played okay. And fortunately, the Packers are playing the Rams without Stafford. 20-3, they won. Both teams had 3 wins on the year. The Patriots are 2-7, and boy, NFL fans all over the country are very sad about that. Washington beat them 20-17. Sam Howell outplayed Mac Jones. Then again, Mac Jones has no weapons. 0, zilch, nada. Indianapolis got not 1 but 2 pick sixes from Kenny Moore. 27-13 over Carolina. Panthers are 1-7. They'd be in competition at the first pick of the draft, except they don't have a first-round pick.
That is correct, David. But they've got their quarterback.
They do, and Houston's got theirs. Chargers, 3.5-point favorites, depending on where and when you look, over the Jets tonight, even though the game's in Jersey. And the Jets have won 3 in a row. See, that's how much Zach Wilson sucks. Okay, quickly, college football, the only poll that counts is the playoff committee. They do their thing Tuesday night. For the record, the AP and the Coaches Poll have the exact same top 10 in order. Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, Penn State, Ole Miss. Same top 10s. In case you missed it, Florida State and UCF were the winners. Florida, Miami, South Florida losers. And USC fired their defensive coordinator, Alex Grinch. I don't know why. They gave a 52 to Dan Marino and the Dolphins. I mean, Michael Penix and the Huskies. Ross Chastain won the season finale in Phoenix. Ryan Blaney was an angry second-place finisher. I don't know why he was so angry. He won the damn cup title by finishing second. He kept ramming it in the back of Ross's car. Dude, what are you doing? Kevin Harvick finished 7th. That's his final race. Eric Almirola could be his final race. The Tampa native finished 13th. Major League Baseball free agency begins today. Marlins hired the Rays general manager, Peter Bendix, as their president of baseball operations. And Dick Drago, who was a key member of the 75 Red Sox, pitched 3 scoreless innings in that classic Game 6 when Fiskett went off the pole. Dick Drago died at 78. Magic and Heat both in action tonight at home. Heat are hosting the Lakers. For those that might be interested, 7:30 on NBA TV. And I mean, that's pretty much it. I could give you some NBA scores and whatever. I mean, is anybody really paying attention?
That was the Starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
I will say for Trent.
They had the play-in tournament this weekend.
I know. Hey, I will say on Friday night, the games were great. How great? Glad you asked. Apparently the margin, of victory, if you will, was on average the closest margin of victory for any day in the NBA in 7 years. That's how good the games were Friday night on these funky looking court designs too.
Well, that means the playoff tournament's off to a great start. If we had something happen like that, they must be taking this really seriously.
Hey, brand new courts. It's kind of like when the NFL went to those crushed jerseys on Thursday nights. Remember how we all loved them? What do we have? The ketchup mustard game in St. Louis between the Rams and the Bucks. In honor of Trent, our new producer, he's a big Detroit sports fan. Pistons lost to the Suns yesterday by 14. Kevin Durant had 41 for Phoenix. There's some NBA for you. I'm done.
That's the one you had to pick?
Memphis.
For you.
Fine. Memphis picked up their first win of the year. They're 1-6. They beat Portland by 12. Anything else?
How long is not suspended?
I'm sorry, what?
40, right?
Ja Morant. He's suspended like half the year, isn't he?
25, I thought.
It's 25? Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. You're right.
They'll be about 4-21 when he comes back. I don't like their chances.
Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for listening. The text line wide open at 21,000. More football talk on the other side right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
They did.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants. all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, Yinzer throws in here. The Sharks gave up another 10-goal game. Did you see that? The Penguins?
Back to back.
Wow.
Yeah, like 10-1, 11-2, something like that. Both at home. David Quinn's still employed today. That's amazing.
Well, yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, even though it's not his fault, that's still amazing.
Well, it just can't happen. Who's their goaltender?
I
it can't be one guy, right?
No. I think it's Felipe. I think that's where Felipe. That's why he had to leave us.
Oy. Red Wings got a big one, Mark. Friday night.
They did. Anytime you beat them, that's a good thing.
First loss for the Bruins, right? First regulation loss, I guess.
And Vegas lost a regulation last night. Their first. They were 11-0-1 to start the year.
What goes up?
Anaheim's won 6 in a row. Anyway, did you see? I know you didn't see. Did you hear about what happened on the PGA Tour?
No.
So it's Kuchar and Villegas, final group.
Right, okay.
And it'd be a big win for either guy. You know, Kuchar hasn't won in a while, and you don't know how many more he's ever going to win. And same with Villegas. And God, does Villegas need the win for status and all that. And one shot back entering the final round was this German, I think, Eric Van Rooyen. I think he's German.
Okay.
He shoots a 35 on the front, 1 under, which that ain't going to do you anything in that course. He shot a 28 on the back. 6 birdies and an eagle. Eagles 18 for the 2-shot win.
Wow.
35-28 for your 9 under 63. Here's Kuchar and Villegas, and think about it. They're, making the turn. It's just the two of them. They're 3-4 clear of everybody. They're thinking it's going to be decided between them and what have you. And I think Van Rooyen goes birdie, 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 eagle over the final 4 holes. Yeah. All of a sudden, don't you think Kuchar and Villegas got to like the 18th tee and we're like, wait, what? We're 3 back. We can ask a Billy Napier question. We could ask toughest Florida football loss of the weekend. Gators, Bucks, Canes. Just because the Canes no-showed. The other two suffered heartbreaking defeats. You could
Bucks or Gators. I think I would
Bucks or
have
Gators.
Canes.
Fine. Okay, fine. I'll say this. If our buddy Golish can get a little bit of defense next year.
Well, it's the
They're gonna
question
be a
I wanted
handful.
to ask him last week, and I didn't want to. I wanted to, and then I wasn't sure because he has just said, we're basically pin our ears back and we're taking a lot of chances. At some point, you need to revisit your defensive philosophy because, man, oh man.
You mean when you score 50 and you don't win?
Coming back.
But it's happened a couple of times.
South African, my bad.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour number 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Monday. It is the first such Monday in November. Thanks so much for being with us. It was a tremendous football weekend. Hope you had a chance to just bathe in it. Hell, shower in it. And I mean one of those showers where you just stand there for the first 10 minutes and just let the water, beat off of you. That one of those showers. Mark, I don't know about you, but I went through a phase growing up. See, we grew up in apartments. I didn't know anything about this thing called a water heater. Okay, in that, apparently you live in a house and you limited amount of water. It needs time to fill back up. I live in an apartment complex. A lot of negatives living in an apartment complex. You know what one of the positives is? You can take a 3-hour shower. It doesn't matter. You got water till the end. The nuclear vent is the only thing that prevents you from having water in an apartment complex. And so I was taking these showers in which all of a sudden, showering over my grandparents' house, they'd be like, yeah, you've emptied my water tank. You can't do that anymore. That's the kind of football weekend we had this weekend. It just took one of those 45-minute hot showers.
Or it was, in my case, the opposite of that. There was just so much football, David, that when I got up Sunday and started watching the Dolphins and Chiefs, and I had to realize I had to take the dog out at halftime of the game, I hadn't showered, and I looked like one of those mob bosses walking around my neighborhood. My shirt was on backwards. The hair was all over the place. And I got back in the house, and my wife goes, "Did you really just go out like that?" Yeah. Did anybody see you?
Probably.
Yeah. Did they wave? I said, "It's funny you say that. No one, I waved at everybody. I got nothing back." You should go look at yourself in the mirror. And then I went, well, it's a dadgum good point. Let's get back to the game.
You're like, well, I look like it kind of what the Saturday was in football right here. And I kind of look like the Dolphins in the first half here in Germany also. Man. So, listen, we need to have a poll question. I don't know. Did we have a poll question at all last week?
We had a couple.
Okay.
Over the course of the week.
We just didn't promote them or anything.
Not really.
Okay. So we're back on the shape up. All right. We went off the wagon for a week. We put 4 pounds back on. Now we're going back to the shape up. Okay. Going back to this new phase. What is it? We're only going to eat between noon and 8. Isn't that the new thing?
What, intermittent fasting? Is that what we're doing?
I don't know what it's called. All I know is that a bunch of people around me, they're like, "Oh, I only eat between noon and 8. And I'm like, well, I only eat between 6 and 5 I take the 5 a.m. hour off. The hour leading up to the show, I don't eat. I tough it out during that hour. So, worst loss of the weekend for Florida teams. I wanted to ask whether or not we think Billy Napier's going to coach next year because he's lost 2 in a row now, and he's looking at a 5-game losing streak to end the season and a 5-7 record. And I got my money on no. If I had to bet right now, I don't think he's the coach next year. I really don't. I think he should be, but I don't think he will be. But how about it's also National Nachos Day. So, we can go either way here.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with the nacho question other than devour it. But I say we go with the worst loss of the weekend. Bucks, Gators.
Now, you could argue the Canes no-showing in Raleigh and put it on the list, but we all know it would only get a few votes. I mean, I'd be willing to put it on the list. I think it's a viable third-party candidate. I just don't think it can win. Like most third-party candidates.
Yeah, I think, putting the Canes on there is like what's his face when he didn't know what Aleppo or Aleppo and didn't know the city there and pretty much ended his candidacy. The Canes pulled a no-show. Is anybody surprised by that right now?
I actually am. I thought year 2, I thought they had progressed past that. But apparently not. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And now, it's fortunately, the schedule gets softer. They go to Tallahassee this week.
14.5-point dogs, I believe they are, to open.
Is that all? Oh, okay. All right. They're Missouri at Georgia then. All right. Good to know. So, worst loss of the weekend then. It's up to Mark as to whether he's going to put the Canes in, just to be respectful. But it could come down to Bucks, Gators. Oof. Bucks now have lost 4 in a row. Baker Mayfield did the go-ahead touchdown with 46 seconds left. Houston needed a touchdown to beat them. Field goal did them no good, and they didn't have a field goal kicker anyway. And C.J. Stroud went 75 yards. He didn't even need the 46 seconds. He only used like 40 of it. 2 touchdowns, about 6 plays? Yeah, Tampa Bay. And not only that, what was the one thing that the Bucs defense was weak on this year? Third downs. They were the worst team on third downs in the NFL defensively. Well, they held Houston to like 3 for 13 or something like that on third down. They actually did a really good job on third down. Problem was on that final drive, they could never get him to third down. Golly.
C.J. Stroud set a record yesterday for rookie passing yards. There's nothing you can say about the Bucs defense that can be complimentary. I don't give a damn what they did on third down. They gave up 39 to the Texans. Stroud threw 5 touchdowns, 470 yards.
Well, they did sack him 3 times. I'm with you. So, in other words, if you were the editor of the sports section, you know how you come out the next day and you grade, offense, defense, special teams. For the Bucs offense, what do you give them? B+?
Yes.
Scored 37 points. Might even give them an A-.
I'd give them an A grade.
Defense. You give them a D or you give them an F?
F. They failed. You can't get, that's a failing defense. There's no other grade you can give the Bucs defense than a big fat F. In Sharpie. So it leaks a little bit so you can really see all of the F.
Right. You're making it awkward to try to turn it into a B is what you're saying.
Yes.
You can do it. Okay, but everybody will know, that grade got changed. Meanwhile, for Gators special teams, once again, got to give him an F. Yep. Unbelievable. And this goes back to the head coach. Sorry, this is on the head coach. First off, he doesn't really have a special teams coach per se. That's on him. And the unit's been an absolute mess all year. All year. Started very first quarter of the first game of the year. And now it literally came back to cost him a game. And the substitution penalty before the final field goal to push it back from 39 yards to 44. Unbelievable. You got to be kidding me, man. You're an experienced head coach. You guys, this is your 9th game of the year. This cannot happen, period. End of sentence. And when you're asked about it afterwards, you don't bring up any other person beside yourself. And you did. Don't ever do that again, Billy Napier, ever. It's on you. It's why you get the money. They've given you everything you wanted, by the way. Your staff is bigger than a Venezuelan National Guard. Okay?
And to not have a special teams coach when you have 647 members on your staff and to throw blame the way you did. Man,
Dude.
oh man.
Dude, it's on you. And that was a big game. We all knew it was a big game. And listen, the team's playing hard for them. They are. This isn't a case of, like if you're a Canes fan, I mean, that effort. Oh, my goodness. I mean, no, the guys they're playing for Billy. I mean, they were down 14-0. Mark, you sent me a text. I was driving from Atlanta to Tuscaloosa, and you're like, not the start the Gators wanted. And I asked you what happened. You explained it to me. I'm like, oh, snap. Hell, by the time you were
down 2 drives, tied it up.
Yeah. By the time you were done explaining to me what happened, I think the Gators had taken a 3-point lead. I'm like, well, they're playing. But Arkansas had never won there? Since joining the SEC, they'd never won in the Swamp?
They were 0-5.
They hadn't won a conference game all year? And you got them. I mean, you're lining up for the winning field goal. You commit a substitution penalty, then you miss the kick. Never mind your other special teams blunders throughout the course of the game. Yeah, they need players desperately.
You also have to point, as you mentioned, the finger at coaching, because these little mistakes are coaching errors.
I think he's got to give up play calling. And even then you go, wait a minute, they scored point. Give up play call. Tell you what, I'll make you a trade. You have to give up play calling until you go an entire season without a substitution penalty. And that's just on special teams. I'll limit it to special teams. You go an entire year without a substitution penalty on special teams, you can have play calling back. That's the deal I'd make with him as AD. But for next year, you're getting an offense coordinator and you're getting a special teams coach. That's if I can bring you back. They may not let me.
You now have to beat somebody you're not supposed to beat to keep your job. That's what that loss did. It wasn't just losing. It was kind of how they lost, David.
They could be a double-digit underdog in each of their last 3 games. It'll be close. It could be high single digits in some cases, but they could be a double-digit dog at LSU, at Missouri, home for Florida State in all 3 games. I don't think he can survive 5-7. And I know it would throw the program into even more upheaval. Hell, they run the risk of losing the 5-star quarterback commit. Hell, Mertz may not come back because Napier's the one who recruited him, and he's running Napier's offense. If you're Mertz, why would you come back if Napier's not there? But boosters don't think that way. They're given millions of dollars. When they're unhappy, they want change. And you try to explain to them it's going to make matters worse, and they look at you and they go, yeah, no, it's not. Can't be worse than this. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening, Florida Sports Network.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost, a team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Left shoulder. Yes. Really bad art on the wall.
Who had the worst loss this weekend? Tampa Bay Bucks, Florida Gators. It is up.
Hot damn. Retweet that sucker. Got to vote.
You know, the juxtaposition between the Dolphins and the Bucks this week is kind of crazy. How the Dolphins held the Chiefs scoreless in the second half, and Tampa couldn't play a lick of defense. When was there's got to be a stat on this. Someone probably put it out there on Twitter or something. But when was the last time Mahomes had a scoreless half, let alone second half? Crazy.
Do you know college basketball starts today?
Yes, it does. At like 4 o'clock, too. Oregon and Georgia.
Is that a college football playoff game or what?
Right. Man, if we had 12, this would be a good playoff this year.
Be an unbelievable year. But if you put the same season next year, how much interest would there be? At least 8, if not 9 of the teams would all come from 2 conferences.
Morning, Clark.
Because it's a rivalry, Spitz, and you know strange things can happen, but you shouldn't be.
Yeah, you shouldn't be.
And you know your team's good enough to win it all. That'll make you nervous. Pressure's on.
Well, but here's the good thing. The big pressure game for the Canes is going to be the ACC title game.
Yeah.
Well, no, the Gator game. They'll play 2 pressure games back to back. But if they make the playoffs, they'll be an underdog in both games if they can play 2 games. But they'll be an underdog in both games they play. Clark, what we're wondering is what options does that offense have? Well, I mean, better play calling. I mean, that's Andy Reid. So, I mean, he's the guy who's in charge of the tune-up. Do you think he's part of the tune-up? Clear in 45 here.
10 seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Chris Landry will join us at the top of the hour. What a football weekend it was. It's not over yet. Monday Night Football tonight. Interesting game. Chargers, the most underachieving bunch in the NFL, yet they're a road favorite against the Jets, who have won 3 in a row. That's interesting in and of itself. Never mind the fact that if the Jets win, they would technically be in the playoffs if we froze the season after week 9. And the Chargers with a win, just like that, it'd be a game out of the playoffs, back to 500. And they're back in it. So Monday Night Football tonight, it's why I'm in Lower Manhattan. Of course, why am I in Lower Manhattan? It's 45 minutes away from the game. A lot of hotels between here and there, but, well, that's for the production meeting at 11 o'clock. Mark's in the cozy confines where he was flat out chilly this morning. And not because the thermostat's on like 61 in that building. What was it, like in the 50s in Southwest Florida this morning?
It's still in the 50s. Technically, it's 58 degrees, apparently.
Wow.
I know.
Sock advisory or no?
It's definite sock advisory.
Okay. And listen.
I've been going with the hey dudes without the socks to keep, but you could definitely go socks this morning. It would just look a little off with what I have on. David, I got to tell you, you got off to a great start this week with our pick. Friday night, I even turned on a little Wyoming, Colorado State, just to see how it's going. And you get a win. You start this sucker off with the win.
Damn right I did. Damn right I did.
And then Old Miss has got a little bit of a lead going.
What do you mean a little bit of a lead? They got a 2-score lead on Texas A&M. Texas A&M sucks offensively. This baby's over.
Right. Not so fast, my friend.
That's lucky to get out of there with a push.
You were. FAU makes a big comeback for you.
They're up 7 at mid-4th quarter. They got the ball, for goodness sakes. This game's over. They score every time they have it. They're going to score here, put the game away. It's a pick 'em. All I need them to do is win. UAB's all 6 of 7.
Fighting Dolphers come back and take it to you.
Field goal.
And then you had a rough one because USC couldn't stop the high school team.
They scored 42, and I'm getting 3. What the heck? Golly. So, yeah, it was a 1-2-1 Saturday. Put a lot of pressure on me heading into yesterday. I came through yesterday.
Then, of course, Atlanta's going to take care of business for you.
Well, for goodness sakes, they got a rookie quarterback, does Minnesota, and the backup it showed up at the team headquarters on Wednesday. I mean, he doesn't know anybody's name, doesn't know the plays. I don't care if he is a rocket scientist or whatever Dobbs is. I don't care. I mean, of course Atlanta, and they're at home. I got the Heineke factor.
So you're 1-3, but then Baltimore takes care of business for you. Yeah. Philly takes care of business for you, and Cincinnati takes care of business for you. 4-3-1, winning week, David. Winning week, no matter how you get there.
I know, but what you described yesterday, going out at halftime and walking your dog, and how it was that you looked. Okay, I know I had a winning week, but I look the way you did when you walked your dog yesterday morning, like the mobster who's ready to plead insanity at his trial. It's a very disheveled 4-3-1.
I ended up with a 3-2 week because Michigan allowed Purdue to score with 18 seconds left in the game to negate a cover. That's a bad beat right there.
Well, especially since you hate Michigan more than any other team on earth except for one other. And so for them to cost you a winning bet, yes, that's a doubly bad beat for you. But another winning week for you. You've had one losing week in 2 months. You know that?
I know. It was a doozy.
Oh no, you're still picking up the pieces from it. I mean, it was a damn near 0 for a week. But yeah. So you had one out-of-body experience, and otherwise you've been tremendous for 2 months. Way to go. And you even lost. You took a flyer on LSU, which, by the way, after the first drive of the second half, by the way, how was that not targeting? He took his helmet and hit him in the face with it. That's not targeting? I think we got to redo the definition of targeting. If that's not targeting, it's not targeting. Nah, that's roughing the passer. He hit me in my jaw with his helmet.
Boy, there's a big difference between a roughing the passer call on Saturday and Sunday, though, isn't there?
Yes, there is. See, on Sunday, you can hit a guy the right way, but if you don't twist your body, if you don't, the official literally said after the game, yeah, but he didn't gator roll off him. You can't fall on the guy. And the 330-pound guy is like, it's called gravity. I mean, I'm pretty athletic and all. I mean, it takes a lot of skill to get to the NFL, but I mean, at some point, Isaac Newton, Edison, Einstein, I mean, don't they win out? No? Okay. All right, 15 yards. Great. Fantastic. On Saturdays, we're allowed to kill the guy.
Kill him.
No. Kill him. We can hit him in the face with our helmet, and then we can pile drive him into the ground. It's the same thing you said I couldn't gator roll. Huh.
So let's see. We've got a poll question up. Miller and Moulton both had a winning week with their picks over the weekend.
Lee got his game of the week right because he was riding Alabama, and he actually gave it away to his clients also. So, there.
Our poll question's up. Who had the worst loss of the weekend, the Gators or the Bucks? And it's the time of the show where we do the play of the day.
Just, does he have, Trent, how do you decide?
Well, I hate to do this to Dolphins fans who are probably listening, but yesterday, one of the more impressive defensive touchdowns you will see, Trent McDuffie forcing a fumble on Tyreek Hill, and here it is.
2nd and 7 for the Dolphins at the Kansas City 30. Chiefs lead 14-0. They'll throw it in the near side. Tyreek Hill hit right in the stomach, fumbles the ball, picked up by Kansas City. Tyreek Hill with the catch and a fumble recovery up the sideline. Here comes Mike. It's Brian Cook. 10-5 touchdown, Kansas City.
Mitch Holthus with the call for the local Kansas City Sports Radio. Electric crowd in Germany, but here's the thing, guys. Trent McDuffie, who forced that fumble, he was picked with the pick that the Chiefs got for the Tyreek Hill trade from Miami. Insult to injury. But that would be the Chiefs' final score of the game with 33 seconds left in the half.
It was enough.
It was enough.
Wow. Of all the plays. I mean, he could have stuck it to Bucks fans at the CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Touchdown.
Could have had the missed field goal in the Gator game.
Yeah, you could have. You really could have.
Or the overtime touchdown. Either one.
How about Josh Dobbs? He doesn't even know who he's throwing it to.
There
hey,
was a
you.
lot to pick from.
Run to the blue Chevy and make a right. I'll hit you.
Yeah, he's going to have that Matthew Stafford book of guys' faces with their names this week, trying to study and learn everyone's name.
Well, Baker Mayfield did that last year, right? I mean,
yeah.
the Rams picked him up on and he had like 2 days to get ready, and I think he led him to a win over the Raiders on a Thursday night. Crazy.
I love the fact that he was basically having to explain. O'Connell had to explain the play.
Right.
There's not enough time to explain the whole play. It's like, all right, here's what you're doing.
Right.
Find your tight end. He's going to be in the flat.
Exactly. Right.
I mean, he's basically giving him one guy to look at.
Exactly. First option is Z. Okay. Second option is the back in the flat. Oh, okay. Got it. If that's not there, hell, just run.
Just run.
The 3rd and 23, just run. Oh, okay. Got it.
Crazy.
Tell you what, now imagine if the trade deadline was in another 2 weeks, like when it should be, after what just took place and all the injuries piling up.
And the Bucks wouldn't be wanting to move someone after that game?
Exactly.
Even if it was just tomorrow. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening. Florida Sports Network.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Bam06 Forever says Miami coach Mike McDaniel tweeted out that the fumble questioning of there was forward progress. You know what? I initially thought that. I thought they might have maybe should have whistled it forward progress on Tyreek Hill, but
Pretty fast.
watching it again.
I didn't think so live. I really didn't.
Well, because how many times has Tyreek broken a tackle like that and then bounced out to the house, you know? So you gotta let it play.
They don't call forward progress
exceptions of that rule,
much anymore because they've gotten yelled at too many times for inadvertent whistles or for whistling plays too quickly.
Right.
So they don't like Mark. It's tough to remember back to last Monday, but remember that when the Lions were driving and they were inside the 5, and I forget who the ball carrier was, but he was ruled not down because he was on top of a Raider, and so the Raiders ripped the ball away from him.
Right. Yeah, it was Craig Reynolds.
And I said to John Perry, I go, isn't there forward progress there? They're pulling him back, aren't they? And he goes, no, that's not forward progress. I'm like, if that's not forward progress, what is? I go, John, if you're going forward and I grab you and pull you back, haven't we reached forward progress? He goes, that's not forward progress. I'm like, okay. And John doesn't say things just to cover the officials' butts either. He's got no problem saying they're wrong. So, why would you have to call the tush push down? I mean, they're not down. And they're being pushed forward.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those calls that you're seeing it less and less.
Michael, I don't know what John's are open anymore. Like my favorite John's Pizza went out of business during the pandemic, the one that was in the church on 41st Street. I love that place.
David, you guys stay in the same area every time you're in New York?
Well, unfortunately, this year we are.
I was gonna say, didn't you just have the same problem like a month ago?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ridiculous.
First world problems.
That's for sure.
Staying at a 5-star hotel. It's not close enough to the damn place. Woe is me.
At least put us in Jersey City where they did the first time around. At least this way, we're on the other side of the Holland Tunnel. But you're right, Mark. It is a first world problem. Seth's coming to the game tonight. He'll be complaining. It'll be cold. It's going to be in like
Florida ranked as the third most likely state to go cashless. How?
Yeah, there's too many old people.
Most likely criminals.
I'm going through the Holland at around 4:30. I got to get through it. Took me a half hour to go through the Holland Tunnel yesterday. Tunnel's like a mile and a half. Delays getting into the tunnel. Once you get into the tunnel, you're kind of going 25 miles an hour, but it's a cluster to get in the tunnel.
Back in 10.
That's the original Johns, isn't it, Michael and Bleecker?
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes until the top of the hour. Chris Landry of Landry Football and LandryFootball.com will join us at the top of the hour. I have no idea what we're going to talk to him about. At 34 different subject matters. We got 13 minutes. I don't know how we're going to cover it all. Whew. All right. I'm going to do it to you. Okay. I'm going to do it to you. Philly, Detroit, San Francisco, New Orleans. Your division winners. Seattle, Dallas, Minnesota, your wild cards. That's right. I know. Roll your eyes. Look away. Walk out of the room. That's fine. Kansas City, Baltimore, Jacksonville, Miami. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincy. The whole AFC North's in the playoffs. The Jets with a win tonight would kick Cincy out. So there. If they can win to get to 5-3.
Ohio State would play Florida State in the first round playoff game, and Georgia would play Michigan.
Exactly.
Oh, I thought that's what we were doing here.
That's where we're at.
Usually pair of Sundays, I just do the Saturday part of that.
Right. There you go. You got it. Next year you'll have a 12-team playoff in which
I know I got more to do.
You can combat my 14 with your 12. This year a 12 would be glorious. Next year it'd be like what? 5 SECs and 4 Big Tens? I mean, it would not look nearly as glorious. You take these teams and factor them in next year into the 12-team playoff. What are we talking?
David, one ACC school.
Right.
Of the top 12, now I know the highest ranked conference winners would get in. So,
Correct.
but the top 12 has Ohio State, Michigan, Washington, Oregon, Penn State. Those are all Big Ten teams.
Yes, they are, Mark.
Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Missouri. Those are all SEC teams.
Now, Oklahoma, I think, would now be out after their loss.
I know.
But yes.
It's the current playoff. They have not.
Yes.
Tomorrow they update it.
Right.
And,
But yes.
and then Florida State.
Now, obviously, they're going to allow 2 other conference champions to get in. And it'd be funny to think who the Big 12, I mean, who's in third in Oklahoma State? Would Oklahoma State be the Big 12 champion, so to speak, in next year's Big 12?
Yes.
Okay. And then what are we talking? Fresno? Talking Fresno State, I think? Be the 5th best conference champion?
I think it would still be Tulane.
Oh, okay. They won by 3.
They won.
Yeah. Okay. So Tulane or Fresno State, something like that.
Right.
Although technically you could argue if Oregon State and or Washington State in the Mountain West, Oregon State's in like 15th in the country, maybe technically it would be Oregon State, but you get the idea what it's going to be next year. You know, when the most high profile school in the Big 12 is Colorado, when goodness knows what the heck the Pac-12 Mountain West, whatever that's going to be called and look like. And then if Clemson's no longer Clemson and Miami never becomes Miami, what's the ACC going to be besides Florida State?
If it's still a conference. Because remember, the rumors about the ACC blowing up will begin, I don't know.
I think at halftime of Florida State's playoff game.
And David, Michigan took care of everything over the weekend. They fired Connor Stallion, so this is all done now. This is, you know.
Well, he resigned, Mark.
Oh, that's right. He resigned. First.
Right. At first they fired him, but he resigned and he released a statement. He made sure to say that, listen, it was all me. It was all, whatever problems have been caused by me and me alone. Nobody had nothing to do with nothing, okay? It was all me.
And that's why I'm not cooperating in any of these investigations. I'm just going to release a statement. And that should suffice for everyone.
Right. And Michigan has made sure to spend, after the coaches yelled at the commissioner for an hour and a half on Tuesday, and the ADs yelled at Tony Petitti for an hour to an hour and a half on Wednesday, the Michigan president made sure to lobby Tony Petitti Thursday night and Friday by saying, hey, come on, this America, it's called due process. Okay, let this play out. Don't just jump the gun here. Let it play out. Okay, come on now. Be like the Big 12 commissioner. Let the NCAA handle Kansas basketball. All right? Don't you be doing something rash like penalizing Oklahoma State basketball, making them ineligible. Although if you want to take what we've done and penalize Oklahoma State, we'd be fine with that. But come on, we got to have due process. And Pat McAfee, realizing that, on game day said, well, you know, the NCAA is going to come down hard on Michigan in 2030. Miller and Moulton deserve some credit. Thank you very much. I mean, listen, we're idiots and we get a lot wrong. We know that. You know that. But, you know, apparently there's nothing else better on the radio for you. So you're stuck with us. And we said this is how it was going to go Saturday. All right. Game day has to address this story. It's a big story. And they've got Desmond Howard on set. That's awkward. He won a Heisman at Michigan. They got Kirk Herbstreit on set. That's awkward. He played quarterback at Ohio State. They've got a bit of a rivalry with Michigan. And Pat McAfee's just going to be, you know, that's his role. So they got to cover this. And how are they going to cover it? And we said they're going to bring on a couple of reporters. And they're going to do the heavy lifting. They're going to do the very serious Reese Davis with the serious question, Pete Thamel with the serious report. And then they were going to throw it back to the set. And we did say that, A, they would not go to Desmond. Did they go to Desmond, Mark?
No.
They did not go to Desmond. Okay. B, we said they'd go to Kirk. They have to go to Kirk. He's their voice on college football. And we predicted that Kirk would go, listen, I just, you know, I don't know. I just want to see football. You know, just let this play out and whatever happens, happens. But I just want to see football. And Mark,
I'm going to
when they
handle
threw it-
this the same way I handle the game that I'm covering when we go to the picks. I'm not going to give you an answer.
Right. Because I just want to see football. And Mark, when they threw it to Kirk, and they threw it to him first after the very serious report, what did Kirk say?
I just want to watch football.
I just want to see those beautiful maize and blue helmets.
Those helmets. This will all get settled on the field.
Right. And why don't we just enjoy the games? This is one of the best Michigan teams, of the last 30 years. Why don't we just enjoy them? Ain't that right, Pat McAfee? Damn right, Kirk. They're going to penalize the 2030 team hard. Corso got that helmet ready? Yep. They're all over the story. They're covering it hot and heavy, hard. That's okay. Fox covered it really hard, too. You know what their big news was? They have a new theme song. That's how seriously they took this story. You got the big issue of the week in college football. What is it? We have a new theme song. Huh. Damn right.
And Tony Batiti is going to pass the buck and let the NCAA handle this. Mark my words. Nothing's going to get done.
No, he's going to do better than that. He's going to do even better than that. He's going to thread the needle. He's going to penalize Harbaugh, but not penalize Michigan. It's going to be brilliant. What do you mean I didn't do anything? Hell, I suspended the coach. And you know what? And he could actually, think about it, Mark. What if he suspends him for the final 2 games of the regular season? That'd be the Ohio State game.
Yeah, it would.
Some people would actually view that.
I think he'll suspend him for the first 4 to 6 games of next year.
Has a qualified coach ever been bookended with suspensions for a season?
Not that I'm aware
would be crazy.
Oh,
I think it's more likely he'll get suspended for 6 games next year. I don't think a damn thing will happen. I've never thought a thing was going to happen.
I know that. But
I love how you have him threading the needle here, though, David. That would be something.
Totally. I got money on it, too. I really believe that's what he's going to do. He's going to say, well, I took this seriously. I listened to y'all. Now, here's the thing. Does he then, if he threads the needle and he suspends Harbaugh, does he suspend him for potentially the Big Ten championship game? Or is it just a regular season penalty?
David, he's not going to suspend Harbaugh this season. Harbaugh is not going to serve a suspension in September and another one in November. It's not happening.
Yes, he is. That's Tony Batiti, new sheriff in town, Mark. Yep.
What would be rich if he suspends him for the Penn State game, but not the Ohio State game?
Right. If he comes out tomorrow and announces a 2-game suspension, Penn State and what was it, Wisconsin?
They got Maryland.
Who are they playing in the middle? Is that it? Okay. And then, and of course, he gets to come back for the Buckeyes. Oh, my goodness. They'd lose their mind in Columbus.
David's here for the chaos. David just wants chaos.
Trent, I do sports talk radio for a living. And this is
know,
college sports. There is no other sport that has the chaos that college sports has. They don't have a commissioner. They have a series of commissioners who can do whatever the hell they want. Everybody answers to no one. I mean, what, the NCAA? Please.
They're event planners.
Yes.
That's all the NCAA.
And you know what?
They run tournaments.
And in some cases, they're not even good event planners.
No, I stopped. I just said they're event planners because we've all seen how they've done with the women's basketball tournament. They're not good event planners. They're event planners.
Here's my question. Do you remember when the NFL wanted to use the college penalties that Tressel and the Ohio State, didn't the NFL actually try to carry over the suspension? Didn't they suspend Ohio State players for the tattoos they got while they were in Columbus, even though they're now in the NFL? I mean, I'm wondering if Harbaugh leaves Michigan after this year and coaches in the NFL, does the NFL hit him with the Tony Batiti suspension penalty? If he suspends him for 4 games in 2024, but he's coaching the Chargers, I mean, what does Goodell do? Right. Or the Bears. Right. Harbaugh with the Raiders. Oh, that's the Bears. The Raiders would be just too rich. Mark Davis and Jim Harbaugh deserve each other.
But remember the gold standard at which Michigan's going to adhere to. As long as that gold is using to pay for tickets, to send scouts to games, to film signals.
Mark, due process. Okay, it's America, due process. Even it's okay. So they have 2.5 years worth of evidence. Okay, but the NCAA hasn't ruled on it yet. Don't you be making any decisions before the NCAA. Okay, that's what Michigan said to Tony Petitti. Come on, you got this job a week ago Tuesday. What are you doing?
Michigan can't even figure out who was on the sidelines at their game.
Right. We have no idea who that is, and we have no idea how he got that pass. Who's in control of the passes? I am. Well, do you have anything to do with this? No. Were you an assistant at Michigan 4 years ago? Yeah. Do you have 3 guys on your staff who used to be at Michigan? Yeah. Anybody have anything to do with maybe getting him a pass? No.
The best was him referring to Stalions as, quote, sign stealer guy.
Sign stealer guy.
Words.
Don't you wish Halloween was like a week from now? That's actually who I should have dressed up as. Not a gator. I should have dressed up as stallions. Right? Do you think they would have put me? I don't think they would have put me on TV if I dressed up as stallions.
No, you needed the dinosaur or the sad lizard, whatever it wanted to be.
Especially in Detroit.
Yeah, I don't know, though. If you had sunglasses on during Monday Night Football with the little blue light in the corner filming stuff, they might have put you on TV.
And a Central Michigan Chippewas jacket.
I would have been upset if they didn't put me on. I'd go, come on, I spent money on this jacket. This wasn't easy to find.
That would have been something. Poll questions up. Who took the worst loss over the weekend, the Bucks or the Gators? Go to Florida Sports Network, that Mark Miller, the David Moulton on Twitter to vote on the poll question today. Chris Landry coming up at the top of the hour. Whatever game he wants to talk about, we'll talk about.
Really? Saturday afternoon, evening, Sunday morning, afternoon, evening, whatever you want, man. It's a buffet line. Get in line, cut in wherever you want.
And go for seconds or maybe even thirds because it was that damn good. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other. The vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Is Chris joining on the video?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Morning, Chris.
Morning. How you guys doing?
Doing well. It was a hell of a weekend of football.
It sure was. It sure was. Exciting yesterday, too. I mean, all weekend. Yesterday was wow.
We
Okay,
think
our
Billy
poll
Napier could be in trouble.
We
think Billy Napier could be in trouble.
Well, it's part of their problem there. They can't. There's no stability. I can tell you that it's going to be booster driven because the administration is against it. It's I'm not saying he's the answer, but they have an unrealistic expectation. They're just getting themselves deeper and deeper in the hole. They're not going to go and get. They'd be better off letting him continue to recruit well, and whoever they go get in a year, it'd be better off. They're gonna set them back. They're gonna set themselves back further and further.
I agree because the one thing, Chris, they have to do, they can't lose this 5-star quarterback, and the one thing that you could see happening if they get rid of Napier is the 5-star quarterback decides, well, I came here for Napier. I'm going to leave.
Yeah, and the problem is he may not be ready for a job like this, but one thing he is doing, and I know it doesn't show up in the win-loss, he's putting an infrastructure that has been needed there for a long time. And so I hate to say this, but they kind of need to use him to finish the behind-the-scenes stuff so that somebody else comes in that has a chance. Because if they make a move now, the guy that they're going to hire, I don't care who he is going to be fired in 2 or 3 years again. And they have a hard time accepting the fact that they're not Georgia. And they can have, a top 5 program in the country in 5 years, and they're still not going to be as good as Georgia is. And I know that's hard for them to accept.
If this was Tennessee, they wouldn't be as angry. The fact that it's Georgia doing it drives them nuts. They can't handle Georgia being better than them.
And I'm going to tell you what, if they continue to make these changes, they're going to be like Tennessee, where Tennessee is they're just happy to have Josh Heupel because they don't suck anymore. They're not a threat to Georgia, but they're not awful anymore. And I think that's where Florida is. And I think it's not the days where it's shifted and Georgia's the king. And now what you've got to do is what I think is tough for them is they don't want to be bottom of the East now,
All right, 10 seconds. Our poll question. Worst loss of the weekend. Bucks to the Texans, Gators to the Razorbacks. Think about those two losses.
Well, yeah, how the Bucks loss was pretty bad. But I mean, the overall losing to Arkansas, but Arkansas was
it's a tough question.
Yeah,
I got you. Tough question. I voted Gators because I think it's going to cost Napier's job. Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And Chris Landry of Landry Football, LandryFootball.com. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Landry Football. Chris, you know, you've spent your life dedicated to this game, and you do deep dives on your website and videos, and, you know, you're an analyst for college and pro football teams. Chris, it's not that hard, okay? I'll trade for Josh Dobbs in Arizona on Monday. He'll show up for practice on Wednesday, and when it comes to Sunday, we'll tell guys, run to the Chevy, make a left, I'll hit you, okay? Run the post to the laundromat, okay? It's not that hard, Chris. It's not that hard.
It was an impressive performance when you consider the fact that, and I know there was some similarity to the system that he's been in, but to just have that limited amount of practice and to come in cold off the bench to spark them was really impressive. To keep that hopes alive for a Minnesota team that always lost when Kirk Cousins went down.
All right, let's talk about another game on Sunday, the Dolphins and the Chiefs. Obviously, yesterday morning had all the hype of being this shootout. Two defenses played really well. Yeah. What did Kansas City do, in your estimation, to stop Miami the way that they did?
Good defenses that can pressure this offense and break the Dolphins' rhythm. That's the key. We've talked about, you know, when the Dolphins have looked great, and everybody's going to say, well, yeah, they're unbeaten against bad teams and they don't win against good. Well, why? I mean, it's just, you know, well, that's just the way it is. No, specifically what? If you break the rhythm, the timing of this offense, pressure up front, disruptive pressure, breaks the rhythm in coverage. You break the rhythm, this is not the same offense, which is the concern about, can you win other ways? Can they get A-Shane back and run the football better? Look, they were right in this game. It wasn't like they were blown out. But that's the frailty of a team that is kind of one-dimensional offensively, in that the rhythm has to be on point. They can't play left-handed. That's going to be the challenge. Can they do that come playoff time?
But Chris, here's what surprises me. They can run the football. You would think that if a team is disrupting their passing rhythm, in the 3 games they've lost this year, 2 has been sacked 4, and 3 times. Okay, well, then they should be able to have a plan B. They can run the football. Hell, they ran the football when they were down 21 points in this game. Why don't they run the ball more?
Well, I think they're a little bit infatuated with their offense and their style and all the toys, and I think that's a big part of it. I think, you know, the other thing, too, is they run the football well when people have to back off and play coverage. So I don't think they're as comfortable running the football when people play, you know, what I would call even, meaning they've got a heavy or an average run box. So I think that those two things contribute to it. I call it the toolbox theory. It's how many tools do you have in your toolbox? How many ways in which you can win? You know, it's not about how good you are when you're at your best. It's how good you are when you're at your worst. When people take away what you can do, what can you do? What are you comfortable with? The Eagles, for example, they don't look all that well on tape most games. They turn the football over. They fumble it at times. But we got to play this way. We got to play that way. When you say find a way to win, what that really means is you got multiple ways in which you can win. The Dolphins don't have multiple ways in which they can win. So they have to win there. Dallas doesn't have a lot of ways that they can win. It's a narrower path. So they've got to stay on that path, or else if they get knocked off that path, then it doesn't work well.
Is it the Dolphins have obviously they can explode. Is it just a lack of physicality with that running game? Because the running game, I don't know if they're trying to trick you. I mean, do they not just want to line it up and pound it every once in a while? Is that the way to change what they're doing, Chris? Or how do you change when there's only one approach, how do you find a second, I guess?
It's not a great offensive line. They run the football well because they get you spaced out. They get lighter. They get light boxes. That's when they run well. When you look at them on tape, they run well when it's light boxes. When people are able to play them basic, if they're able to reroute their receivers and bring pressure up the middle, and they don't have to get spread out, they're not as good. They're not as good blocking one-on-one. They're good blocking light boxes, which most people are going to be. Less guys to block, common sense, it's math. That's the difference, is they can't pound it when they have to consistently against good defensive fronts.
Well, to be honest, though, they should face light boxes every snap. I mean, they've got the speed and they've got by formation. I mean, they should never see more than 6 guys in a box.
Yeah,
ever.
But playing against Kansas City or good defenses, which are going to play, it just doesn't work. It is tougher to block those fronts than it is to block, Denver or people that they've scored a bunch of points on.
Okay, the Bucs and the way they lost. Todd Bowles, a defensive coach. How do they give up 40? How do they give up the worst defensive performance against a rookie quarterback in league history?
We said it early, and you win, you move on, and you're happy. But this team hasn't looked consistent or good all year long. I look at their game against Atlanta. It was an awful game. Atlanta won it. It was like 2 teams that couldn't shoot straight, and this team's just not very good. Fundamentally, they're not very good defensively. They get out of position a lot. They lose leverage a lot. Offensively, they're a little bit of hit or miss. I don't think they're very good, quite frankly. I think there's some talent there, but I don't think they're very well constructed. I think they're a little bit of hodgepodge. I think they make big plays on offense. I think they make big plays on defense, but fundamentally, I just don't think they're very good. And that's what happens when sometimes, you look good for stretches, you got a lead, you're going to put a team away, then you make a bunch of mistakes. I mean, they just made more mistakes in Atlanta. They made more mistakes down the stretch to obviously allow the Texans to come back. They found a way to win it late, and then they gave it up. Yeah, you can't do that. Defensively, they had a very poor series at the end. But it's not all that unusual what I've seen on tape all year long with them.
Back to that Cowboys-Eagles game. You said the Cowboys are similar to Miami in that they only have certain ways that they can beat you. I looked at that game and thought, I don't know if Dallas can play much better than they did yesterday. I mean, I thought that was a pretty complete performance. Talk to me about what Dallas did and why it wasn't good enough. Because, I mean, obviously, there are 2 plays that are an inch away. They can win that football game. But that's about as good as the Cowboys can play, Chris.
Yes. And I know I'm not putting it. I think I'm encouraged because most of the games that Dallas has played, they've blown people out or they've gotten blown out. Why? They're completely different than Miami, by the way. But they're similar in that they're one-dimensional. They're a play-action team. So if they get a lead, they can crush you. Why? Because the defense is much better rushing the passer than it is defending the run. Even though statistically sometimes it shows differently, it's because when they get a lead, they take people out of their running game. Play action, they're not a drop back, spread you out. They run the football, run play action. If they didn't turn the football over and make mistakes, they had every opportunity to win that game and should have. So encouraged by the fact that they can. The difference is if they're not on point with play action and they get behind, get blown out. And they've seen that against some average teams. They've seen it against San Francisco. So that's what I mean. They're one-dimensional. I also think Philly can do more things. They're not a spread you out team, but they can run RPO. They can run zone read. They throw those 50-50 balls. They're better, on the line of scrimmage against the run and running the football. They just, it's not that Philly played better. They just have more ways in which to win. Dallas was right there, and they just, it is probably discouraging that they've got that close and couldn't get it done. But positive you got to take out of it is we played right with them. And you know what? Probably going to have to go to Philly and beat them again if they're fortunate enough in the playoffs. They've got to take that and say, we've just got to make not only one more play, but one less mistake. Because to me, that's what cost them the game.
If I said to you the Bills are going to miss the playoffs, And here's partly why. They play the Jets, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, and the Dolphins along the way, the rest of the way, plus a road game at the Chargers, which could be very big for wild card purposes. All right. Are the Bills in trouble here?
Well, yeah, because you just laid it out, the schedule, and they've got no margin for error, and it's a competitive AFC. So I can absolutely go along with that. The thing that just prevents me from jumping on it and saying, yeah, I take they're not going to make the playoff. I watch them play, and they're better than that. They look like a playoff team, and they're not able to finish. Something tells me that they figure it out and make it. But look, they have just lost all their wiggle room, and it's going to be awfully tough now. And they're going to have to do it on the road. That's a big part of their success. I don't like their chances going as far as I thought they were at the beginning of the year, but I'm not ready to say they're not going to make it.
How impressed are you by what Todd Moulton and the Baltimore Ravens are doing?
I'm really impressed. It was a big statement win. The defense played great, but the offense is a little bit more eclectic and a little bit more varied with the passing game. This is a really good team. Right now, you could make the case they're playing as good as anybody in the NFL. I still wonder if they have to be really explosive in the passing game. Can they do that? I don't think they're good enough if they have to win that way in the playoffs. But their defense is good enough, and their running game, including with the quarterback, is good enough that's another team got to win their way. But, boy, they're really good at what they do, and playing good defense and running the football and forcing numbers in the box to defend the run and having some opportunities to make big plays when you've got spacing and coverage is a better formula than being a complete spread that you've got to have a lot of rhythm. In other words, they can win in a sloppy game and a sloppy performance. I don't know that I expect them to beat the Bengals, though, if the Bengals continue to play and stay healthy. You didn't ask that, but, I'm really impressed with them.
He's Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com, LandryFootball.com. Follow him on Twitter/X, @LandryFootball. He's devoted his life to the game. He's been a coach. He's been a scout. He's been an administrator. He's hired by many a college and pro team for his insight. So why don't you take what he offers at LandryFootball.com? Chris, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Always my pleasure. Thanks. Have a great week, guys.
Chris Landry joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton. We didn't even get into Saturday. And we know how much you love Saturday. We'll do that next week. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com. Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Adam says Ravens still dependent on Mark Andrews' health. I feel like they're dependent on everyone's health at this point. The most injury-prone team in the league. They just keep winning.
Oh boy.
What teams you talking about?
The Ravens.
I don't know. I got a text. Daughter just got picked up by a travel team for the weekend.
So where are you going this weekend?
I didn't realize that she was on waivers. So what was she only on the practice squad and somebody signed her to a roster? What?
I don't know how you would do soccer at this level. If you're in a rec league and picked up by a travel league, is this kind of like
well, no offense. Don't they have to go
like Messi with the World Cup, David, that he can still play under Miami, but he still plays?
Well, hold on though. Don't they have to? You're the parent club, literally. Don't they have to call you? I mean, aren't there transfer fees involved? Something?
Yeah. Good morning. The San Carlos Soccer League is putting together a team for a tournament. The games. Would Maddie be available to play? I can't say no. I mean, I can, but
you could text back. It depends. That's all you have to do. It depends. Boom. There you go. It depends. Depends on a lot of things. First off, if she wants to do it. Secondly, what days and times. We've got plans. We have a regular season schedule ourselves,
That's where you're so cute. You act like I have a regular season schedule.
Well, no, the family does.
I have Michigan and Penn State at noon. That's what I have.
Well, I understand. The family does. That's we have a regular season schedule. I mean, maybe it doesn't fit your wife and your daughter. That's all. Make them grovel a little bit. That's all.
It depends.
Maybe make them, provide the person that's going to pick them up and take her there. And this way you're off the hook. That's all. Just trying to negotiate on your behalf. I mean, maybe they can throw in a canned ham and, it is the holidays after all. A couple of sides.
Barstool sleeper. Yes. As far as I'm concerned, Bills are out of the top tier. I saw something today. I think if the playoffs were 16 teams, they still wouldn't be in.
Correct. Because the Jets would make it at 4-3.
Yeah.
They'd be the 8.
No, you're exactly right. At some point, they are what they are. That's the silver lining for the Dolphins yesterday. There's no blood. Bills lost.
Yeah, T. Haynes, they're hardcore football guys, and most radio consultants would say that they're deaf. You don't go with guests like that. You need to be more casual. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
I'm in soccer transactions right now. I'm trying to see if we can get the waivers cleared. Uh-oh.
I'm on apartments.com. That's what I'm doing.
And I just lost David. I don't know why. Hopefully he gets back in a hurry.
I think maybe he thought we couldn't hear him and he's just logging out, getting back in. Got 50 seconds to figure it out, hopefully. Remember when the talk was Dolphins as 1 seed? Yeah, but was it ever really?
Hi.
Hi.
We could
15
hear you.
seconds
We were
to
both
spare,
doing other
David.
things there, so I don't know. We actually could hear you. I don't know if you did that on your own.
Well, no, it disconnected on my end.
Okay.
5 seconds.
I just the time cues.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
$21 past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. You can text the show always about anything you want. 21,000. That's it. If you've never texted before, then you have to put in a keyword, FSN Radio. And then that gets you through the front security gate. And then you never have to be stopped again. You can also take in the show on twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. Not going to believe it. The Miller and Moulton show has a Miller and Moulton channel. See what we did there? And then you can see us. You can see some of our guests who appear via video as well. There's also a Twitch chat room, which is usually very entertaining. And Mark, there was a comment in it that coincided with an article that I saw this morning. A site that you and I both like and we both pay for, even though it's one of the worst websites. The site itself, the content's phenomenal. The site itself is one of the worst put together sites ever, and that's The Athletic. Great material, very difficult to find. They have a story today, Mark, in which they say, well, there are 9 teams that can win the Super Bowl. 9.
9, okay.
9. There's 3 in their own tier. And we could guess who they are. Eagles, Chiefs, Ravens. Then there's 6 others who can win the Super Bowl. Jags, Lions.
That's so cute.
Dolphins.
Right. They can't beat a team with a winning record.
Let's get why I brought it up. Niners. Cowboys, Bengals.
There you go.
Which omits the Bills. The Athletic has said, listen, we have to stop it, okay? They're 5-4 for a reason. And yeah, they got Rasul Douglas, but he's not Tre'Davious White. And they're missing Matt Milano. And they can't get a pass rush when they need it. Von Miller, by the way, looks shot. Has Von Miller made a play at all this year? I mean, put him on IL for a month and try to get him healthy. I mean, he came back too soon. I don't know, that knee injury on Thanksgiving, he's not Von Miller anymore. But the Bills are 5-4. Bills will be out of the playoffs, by the way, if the playoffs started today. They're out. And they got a very tough schedule the rest of the way. So for the Dolphins, by the way. So I'm assuming we can all agree that the Eagles, Chiefs, or Ravens, that they can win the Super Bowl. So of the 6 others, you tell me who they're wrong about. Can the Jags win the Super Bowl? And yes. Okay.
They can.
Can the Dolphins?
I don't think so.
See, I think they can. And I know they haven't done it yet. I get it. And I don't just mean win the Super Bowl. I mean beat a good team. But do I think this team has it in them? Oh, yeah, I do. The Lions.
No.
Wow, you just dismissed them. Wow, like swatting a fly away.
Did anybody see the game against the Ravens?
Well, come on. You can't give a team a bad day?
No,
I mean,
I'll give them a bad day, but it's another thing. Start beating a good team. When they can start beating some good teams, let me know.
Well, they beat the Chiefs.
They beat the Chiefs without Kelsey, without Jones. It was the first game where even you admit crazy stuff happens.
The tough part for the Lions is that they're not going to get another chance to play a good team.
Play the Cowboys.
Well, yeah, but
play the Cowboys and the Chargers. Beat both of them.
How good are the Cowboys? They're not on this list.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Oh,
they're on the list.
Sorry, I must have completely.
So you said yes to the Jags, no to the Dolphins, no to the Lions. How about the Niners?
Yes.
So we're still okay with Brock Purdy. Have to admit, been a rough 3 weeks for Brock.
It
Purdy.
has.
Okay.
It definitely has.
And more, it looks like the Niners are trying to win with average at quarterback. Be great everywhere else and be average at quarterback.
Once they get great everywhere else, it will help.
Okay. Cowboys.
I don't think so. But I thought yesterday's performance gives me reason to pause because I thought they played really well yesterday.
They went toe-to-toe with a heavyweight, right?
They did. They truly did. Dak looked great. You know I'm not a Dak guy. I thought Dak was tremendous yesterday. Now, in the fourth down play, he had a wide-open receiver over the middle that he missed instead of when he threw the incomplete pass on the fourth down, but neither here nor there. Everybody's allowed a mistake.
Except apparently Dak. But for whatever reason, though, it's a heavyweight they match up with. They match up well with the Eagles. They have confidence against the Eagles. They're in the fetal position in the corner if the Niners show up. And then the Bengals.
Yes.
Yeah.
The answer is yes, David.
Yeah. Don't you just think the Bengals, all right, I'm not a big fan of Westerns, but don't you think that the Bengals are a Western and you know who is coming in on the horse? And pick whichever music you want in the background. And he's just sashaying into, you know how horses sashay into town? Okay, that's Joe Burrow on the horse. And there are people in town that are like, man, I thought I saw him in Sioux Falls on the side of the road. Thought that horse was in trouble. I thought we'd never see or hear from him again. Uh-oh. He's coming into town. Oh, man, he's got his good hat on, too. Damn, he looks good on that horse. That is a good-looking horse. Man. I don't know if I want
like that you dropped a little Southern accent in there. That's all I had no idea what happened at all of a sudden
Well,
you sounded like Brian Kelly.
Well, he did go to LSU for 2 years. Even that final game, he spelled Burrow with an E, an A U, and an X. Now, so just for the record, then, anybody not on the list that you think can win the Super Bowl? Buffalo's not on the list. Seattle not on the list. Pittsburgh not on the list. Cleveland not on the list.
I'm fine with their list.
So no Buffalo then.
No.
So to you, the Bills are done. Can't win the Super Bowl with this year's team.
You pointed it out. The Milano injury is going to just destroy them.
Well, also,
I don't think Von Miller had a tackle yesterday, by the way.
Von Miller, there's a APB out for Von Miller because he is just can't be found. Okay, so for the record, you're a yes on the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Ravens, on the Jags, on the Niners, on the Bengals. And the Cowboys, you're still a no, but
I came away impressed with what they did yesterday. I truly did.
Okay.
They went toe-to-toe with the Eagles.
They did, but so have the Commanders twice. But, yep. So you're 6 with an asterisk right now. 6 teams can win it.
And where are you?
Well, I think, yes. Here's the one thing that bothers me about the Lions. I don't know if the Lions are explosive enough. Like, if the Lions get down 10 points going to the fourth quarter, can their offense is really good. It's methodical. I don't know if it's explosive enough. You know, it's 27-17 going to the fourth.
The Alabama kid's never proven he can be that receiver. That's the kid they need is
Jameson
Williams. He's not been the guy they've expected. Whether it's the injury, the suspension, whatever the case may be, he's not been the guy to stretch the field for them.
A lot of drops.
Correct. I think
and that's where they are. So Dallas, I love what they did yesterday. Miami gave a good performance yesterday. And I know we're past the moral victory stage. Their defense is getting better. That's the key for the Dolphins. Can the defense continue to improve? Because the offense can be there. It just wasn't. It got off to a bad start yesterday, and they have trouble playing from behind. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening to the Florida Sports Network.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other. A vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Is David there?
He is.
I am.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you froze up for a good 30 seconds there.
Yes, I did.
Are you using MiFi or the hotels?
MiFi. Hotel is awful. But I will say this happened in this hotel. It was the Monday that I did the show was the day that you were taking your mom. And the same thing happened in the 8 o'clock hour.
Well, it happened at a good time.
Not
It happened
really.
with like
It
20 seconds left. So
what was awful when it happened, however many Mondays ago it was, that I was interviewing John Perry and we had like 3 minutes left.
That sucks.
Well, I will say this, Empire, post game for the Bills was fascinating. The Bills, the head coach, the quarterback, and somebody else all wondered why it is that they didn't go as much hurry up this week as they did in previous weeks.
Interesting post-game question out of the quarterback and the coach.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially the head coach. It's like, are you not the head coach? I mean, if Ken Dorsey's not calling the plays that you want, don't you tell him to call the plays that you want? Or are you so consumed with running the defense that now remember, Mark, I said I thought the Bengals game was their season.
yeah, I know.
Josh Allen led them in passing and rushing again. Well, dead struck. Mark picked them to win the Super Bowl. I picked the Bills.
I picked the Eagles and Bengals. That's my Super Bowl right there.
Yeah.
I had Lions Ravens.
Wow. You're
Tried
not
to go
a
off the
homer
board.
or anything.
Not very.
Do you
not very
realize
often.
that they only tried to run the ball 8 times?
The Bills?
Josh Allen ran it 8.
Wow.
The rest of the backs, Murray ran it twice and Cook ran it 6 times.
So they only handed it off 8 times.
And maybe a couple of those running plays were called. So they probably called 10 to 12 running plays.
There is an element of that. I mean, they just let the playing from behind right away, but still, you got to have some sort of balance, right?
You should see the series of texts that I got from McBain. I got 18 texts from Jason. And I either respond early or I just let him go. And I respond today. And I just decided last night I was tired. I'm like, I don't think I'll make the whole game. So
yeah, I've crashed out sometime third quarter and woke up in the fourth.
Canada relief benefit. As Lions fans, how worried are you about the Vikings? 0. Although the move they made for Dobbs, we were joking about it last week, but that might get them the 7 seed. We'll see. Someone's got to get it.
Mm-hmm.
We did say the Vikings-Falcons game, big game for the wild card.
Coming back.
Of course we are.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes until we're out of here along the network. 22 minutes until we're out of here along the network. Then the Diamond District bonus hour waits for those of us in the 239 that are listening. Are we in the 60s now throughout the
We are.
Florida? Okay.
We are. I've switched from
So-
the hey dudes to the flip-flops. I'm good.
Gotcha. Northern part of our audience, Tampa, Lake City, and what have you, we're still in the 50s, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Hey, do you think the Texans did the Bucs a favor yesterday? And I know that sounds absurd. Tampa with the win would have gotten a 4-4. Hell, they would have been in it still to win the South. Never mind only a half a game out of being a wild card, and they would own the tiebreaker with the current 7 seed, the Vikings, because they beat them opening day. But you know what I'm getting at here, Mark. Like Chris Landry just said, listen, the Bucs aren't a good team. I mean, they got some good players and they could do some good things, but they're not a good team. And do you think the Houston Texans kind of ended the season for the Bucs, if you know what I mean? We can stop looking at them as a potential good team, a potential NFC South champion, and we can look at the Bucs and go, yeah, this is a rebuild, man. We got issues.
We can, David. The problem with the Bucs is that I don't think that they have that type of self-scouting. If they would have had that type of self-scouting, then I think they would have moved players last week. I think Buck fan can now look at the rest of the season and go, well, let's see what they figure out.
Hey, if we could just sidebar for a second here. I'm in Lower Manhattan getting ready for Monday Night Football tonight. And one of the reasons why the Jets didn't go out and get a quarterback is, and they're not the only one. A lot of teams don't go out and acquire quarterbacks when they have quarterback issues during the season, is because, well, you can't do that in football. Your training camp and continuity and this, that. You can't just bring a guy in, a different system, and blah, 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 blah. And I understand what Josh Dobbs did normally doesn't happen, but do you think that Josh Dobbs kind of maybe blew up that balloon? Baker Mayfield did it last year, too. And he came in off the street, for goodness sakes, and won a game 2 days later.
I don't think that one game will do it. But if Josh Dobbs can lead the Vikings to a playoff berth, then I do think it can change that narrative going forward. I don't think one game does it, David. But I do think if the Vikings end up as a 7 seed, teams have to look at, especially if the Vikings end up as a 7 seed and the Jets miss the playoffs.
Oh, look at you.
Because I think there has to be a yin and a yang, if you know what I mean.
There you go. But, a lot of teams didn't go out, obviously, and make any kind of quarterback move. And, there's a shortage of quarterbacks. We get it. It's another reason why, if you're the NFL, don't you have to think seriously about pushing the trade deadline back? As you said earlier in the show, how about till tomorrow? But how about a week from tomorrow? I mean, man. Because also, it's one thing when you've only played 7 or 8 games, what you're thinking. It's another thing when you've played 9 or 10. The conclusions you're now going to come to.
But the NFL's not going to do it because they don't want tanking. They don't want the process. They don't want fire sales. The league is adamantly against these things. As much as we would like them, they're not going to happen. But I think what you talked about, trading for someone when it looks like it's, why would you trade for a quarterback? We got to teach them a whole new system. Well, Josh Dobbs could change all of that, David.
And Baker played his best football last year where? In Los Angeles. In which he had to learn it all on the fly. And by the way, a completely depleted team. Didn't have the top receivers, had a makeshift offensive line, being kind. And he played much better in Los Angeles than he did in Carolina. So, all right, quick sidebar. And back to regularly scheduled programming already in progress. But, hey, can we switch gears? Our poll question, worst loss of the weekend, and we stayed in Florida. Bucks, man, couldn't defend 46 seconds. And C.J. Stroud. And the Gators, oh, boy, had the game-winning field goal right there. Committed a penalty, missed the kick. Screwed it up in overtime. Oh, boy. Now we're looking to end the season with a 5-game losing streak and 5-7, and oh, boy. But along those lines of what took place Saturday and Saturday night, do you think Bama's got something for Georgia now?
Oh, there's no question.
Oh, but come on now. Think about 7 weeks ago, we didn't think that.
No. We didn't think it 7 weeks ago.
Right.
But
that's why I'm asking. Do you think now?
Better, and they've done everything they're supposed to do. They lost to Texas. Okay. Yeah. Since then, they've beaten everybody that's in front of them. And each time it looks a little bit better when they do it.
Exactly. Yeah. And that hasn't all been pretty. I mean, hell, they barely beat Arkansas at home. Arkansas had the ball with 4 minutes to go, and they were a score away from winning the game. They struggled at A&M. They were losing at the half. Tied at the half against LSU. Down 13 at the half against Tennessee. It's not a great team. But, man, they got a little something, though, don't they? Boy, when they play defense, they play a little defense. And when that quarterback gets going, whew.
He's unbelievable, obviously, running the ball, and he's becoming a better thrower.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, they were completely one-dimensional earlier in the season. It was his legs and his legs only.
And he didn't want to run. And you're right. So the only dimension they had, he didn't want to use. So
now he's using both.
Right. That's a problem. So now here we go. Georgia still got work to do to stay unbeaten. We get into the whole debate. If Georgia posts a 12-0, are they automatically in?
I don't think so.
Well, I don't think so either, but I do think, though, there's only one scenario that could keep Alabama out, though, and it's the perfect storm, which nearly ended over the weekend. But the perfect storm is still in play, and that's an undefeated Washington, an undefeated Florida State, an undefeated Big Ten champion, and then Texas is a 12-1 Big 12 champion. And it sounds absurd that a 12-1 Alabama could win the SEC and beat potentially a 12-0 Georgia, who hasn't lost a regular season game in 3 years, in the SEC title game and be left out of the playoff. But I think it's difficult to put a 12-1 Alabama ahead of an undefeated team. And how in the hell do you put them ahead of Texas?
Boy, is Washington going to be pissed in this scenario if they get left out.
Especially when the committee says, well, we already have a Big Ten team in. And then somebody goes, well, wait a minute. That means the SEC's getting 2. And the committee goes, yeah, that's about right. But come on, we all know that perfect storm's not going to happen. It's college football. It's November. All you know what nearly hit the fan on the first Saturday of the month. We got 3 more. But
I just hope Penn State has something for Michigan. I don't care. I mean, I'd prefer Michigan to win and play Ohio State and have them both be undefeated. I would. I just want to see Penn State have something for them on Saturday.
Well, first off, to the Michigan fan out there, deep down, don't you think it would help you guys if Penn State gave you a game? I mean, do you really want to go untested into the Ohio State game? Because, come on.
I'll speak for Michigan fan here.
Okay.
Yes. I want to be untested because we're not going to be tested against Ohio State. We're going to roll right through them the way we did the last 2 years. We're not going to get tested at all this year. Have you not seen us play?
Yeah, but you didn't roll through Ohio State. Not until the second half. Not until in the first half, you looked to see whether or not the signs they were using matched up with the signs that you had. Then when you realized they did, in the second half, you rolled them, see?
Get them, David.
Oh, that's a little snarky, isn't it? But no. In all seriousness, don't you want maybe, I don't know, kind of like what Georgia had with South Carolina and Auburn early in the season, down 14-3 at the half. How about 17-all going to the fourth at Auburn? Just, how about 17-all in the fourth quarter at Penn State? And then you guys take over and tack on 2 scores and win 27-17. Don't you think that would help you?
Just have what happened to Florida State that happened at Pitt. Go to the half and have it be a game and say,
right.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
10-7
at the half. Today. Right. 10-7 at the half, 10-7 going to the fourth. And then you just take over. I mean, you're who you are, who they are, and you're better. But don't you think it would help you guys out to get a game? No? I think it might. I think it's helped Ohio State this year. Notre Dame game, Penn State game. Hell, they didn't panic against Rutgers. They just kept playing. They covered in the end, by the way, by a half. Funny how that works out.
It is, since you brought up that side of the Big Ten, we almost have to bring up the other and just to point out what is the worst division in all of football.
Okay, here's a potential poll question. Big Ten West, NFC South. Go.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Yep, I went there. Yes, I did. For those that don't know, Iowa leading the Big Ten West with 2 conference losses because Minnesota, Nebraska, and somebody else also lost over the weekend. So they now have 3 conference losses. Illinois.
One of those teams, Illinois, you're right. One of those teams will get to play Michigan or Ohio State
Correct.
at the end of the season.
Well, at least that the winner of the NFC South gets to host a playoff game.
Right.
Whoever
Just
wins
like-
the Big Ten West gets to go to a neutral site and get waxed,
Exactly.
and it won't be
Right.
close.
Right. So there you go. NFC South, Big Ten West. That's a toughie.
It really is. That's dreadful football.
Yes, it is.
Because the AFC South, we thought they'd have their hand up, but the Jags got it going on. This Houston team's worth watching. The NFC South has definitely earned the title as worst division in the NFL.
Yeah,
But
I think
the Big Ten West is the worst division in football.
Poof. I don't know, Mark. I mean, that Iowa Northwestern game, that was
10-7?
7-0. It was 7-0 with 5 minutes to go.
Mm-hmm. They pointed out on a graphic that there were either 5 or 6 Cub games that had more runs than the Iowa Northwestern football game did.
10-7, your final Hawkeyes, by the way. Lowest over-under in the history of major Division 1A college football at 29.5, and it went under easily. Hell, they could have played a first overtime and still stayed under.
The only chances for overs in Iowa game are to go back to the old overtime rules where it's just touchdowns. Because now they start doing the 2-pointers at some point. They can't ever get over, David.
So, Miller and Moulton. Our poll question, worst Florida football loss of the weekend. The Gators to Arkansas, the Tampa Bay Bucks to the Texans. I voted Gators because I ultimately believe this is the beginning of the end for Napier. They will lose 5 in a row, 5 and 7. They will be forced out.
Now he's going to have to beat someone on the schedule that they're going to be a significant underdog against for the Gators to get to a bowl game. And the Bucks, any shot they had at winning the division went away in blowing the game against Houston yesterday. There's still a shot. But that, with what was going on, with what happened to Atlanta, they were given a golden opportunity yesterday and just blew it. That, Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Florida Sports Network, is where you can vote on the poll question. Along the network, we'll be back again tomorrow morning at 6. In the 239, the Diamond District bonus hour awaits right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, Mark, this is just Izzo doing what Izzo does.
Gotcha.
He's going to piss all of us off. And then sometime in February, they'll take a nasty loss that they shouldn't, like at Illinois or something, trap game. Then he'll shake out the rotation finally. We'll see. I don't know. With Kohler out, though, at the beginning, I hope Booker gets to play a little bit, like more than anticipated. I think Kohler's out till at least Christmas, they said.
Yep.
Gosh, I'm fired up, though. Do you guys talk much college hoops on this show?
Nope.
No?
Nobody cares.
Yeah, that's fair. Because, yeah, Florida Gulf Coast is all you got.
No, I mean,
we do a little bit this hour, believe it or not, because in our listening audience, they care more in the 239 than they probably
than the
do in the other markets.
And the airwaves. Yeah, I got you.
Because it's got a lot of Big Ten fans.
I am a huge college hoops guy.
And college hoop is big in this part of the world. I mean, Kentucky's big everywhere, but I mean, there's bars that you go to that's Louisville and Kentucky bars packed.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Sparty's bar is the Stevie Tomatoes on Daniels and I-75. That's
Good
the
to
Michigan
know.
State bar.
I'll need to get that from you later, too. Good to know.
Is that bar still open?
I think so.
Okay.
One of the highlights of my young career was when I got to cover the SEC tournament for the Nashville Post this last spring. Heaven. Just basketball all day, courtside.
Well, you have to talk to Felipe and see if you can get involved in either the City of Palms or the...
We were talking about that for like 3 days straight when I was first here a month ago.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, that Stevie's isn't there anymore.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know where Michigan State's headquarters, and I'll have to wait for another email.
By the way, Clark, by KU you mean Kansas, correct? Because Kentucky's UK. Yeah, KU's preseason number 1.
You guys been to the Garden before? Have you been to the Garden before?
Madison Square?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. David has many a time. He's in New York. I mean, he's from Jersey, so.
Okay. David, did you grow up a Knicks fan?
Yes. I'm a Knicks, Rangers, Mets, Giants fan and Rutgers fan. With also my family's big into Notre Dame, so.
Okay.
I had a fondness for Notre Dame, but the team that I actually want to win is Rutgers.
Gotcha.
When I was 10, 11 years old, when I was 10, the Rutgers basketball team went to the Final Four undefeated. Same year Indiana was undefeated. They were lost in history, okay, because they lost both games to the Final Four, finished 4th, but they were undefeated. And
did they play Indiana or did they play Michigan?
They played Michigan. And the Rutgers football team in 1977 was really good. They went like 11-1. And then they went to a bowl game, and I think Frank Kush and Arizona State crushed them. So, like, when I was 10, 11 years old, Rutgers, first teams.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour on this first Monday in November. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm in Lower Manhattan, getting ready for Monday Night Football. Jets hosting the Chargers. LA, a 3.5 point favorite, despite being on the road, despite the Jets having won 3 in a row, despite the Chargers always underachieving. Don't you find the spread interesting on the game tonight? Even though we don't think the Jets with Zach Wilson are that good, but I mean, you're going to bet the Chargers as a road favorite?
I think this was a little bit of what you witnessed and what you talked about last week, is that if you watched the Jets play a week ago, it's really difficult to think that they have a chance against an actual NFL football team.
Right. As opposed to the Giants, who they were lucky to beat, who are one of the 3 worst teams in the league.
Back to your point too, by the way, David, the Giants at 2-7 right now have the 4th overall pick in the draft.
Is it 4? Because I got them 5.
I have them ahead of the Patriots. According to tankathon.com, one of my favorite sites this type of year, Arizona with the 1st overall pick.
Right.
Carolina has the 2nd overall pick, but they're going to give that to Chicago. So Chicago will pick 2 and 3. The Giants will pick 4. The Patriots will pick 5.
How about that? The Bears picking 2 and 3. So the new regime can get their quarterback and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes, they can.
So Jim Harbaugh will have his new quarterback and Marvin Harrison Jr.
By the way, we got a text earlier in the show, and it doesn't matter to me, but does Caleb Williams crying 2 weeks after calling himself a lion that doesn't get affected by sheep change your opinion on him as a franchise quarterback?
If you didn't see the video, Caleb Williams in the first row crying on his mom's shoulder?
Yeah.
Because after they lost to Washington, basically all their dreams for this season are done. And no, young guy, emotional. I cut people a break, Mark.
I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
I'm a very emotional person. I have no issue with the guy crying. I don't.
I like the fact it means that much to him. He's already won a Heisman Trophy, for goodness sakes. If he was our kid, he'd be working out at IMG, not playing it down. Okay? I love the fact he came back. Yeah, sure, he's making a lot of money doing it, but hell, we could arrange it where we'd get him a lot of money just to work out in Bradenton. So, no, I'm fine.
By the way, it was expected to be announced. Dallas Goedert fractured his forearm. That play last night. It's going to be out a few weeks. That just came across my phone. So that'll affect the Eagles a little bit.
Yeah, it's a 4 to 6 week thing. I mean, they'll try to get by. They've got 3 other tight ends. None of them are Dallas Goedert, but, they got 2 elite wide receivers, an elite quarterback, best offensive line in the league. I think they'll be okay. Hey, along those lines, so the Dolphins, the narrative continues. They beat the average to below average, and they can't beat the good. So, okay, you tell me the win in which you go, all right, that impresses me. I'm being serious here.
No, I know.
Okay, they're got a bye week. And then
that would impress me. If they can get a win next week, then I'm impressed.
That's true. That would be good. Who'd you beat? Idle? Billy? American? No, Idle. IDLE. We beat Idle. No one's ever beaten Idle.
No one's ever done that before.
Wow. They host the Raiders.
Whatever.
Okay. Black Friday. Beat the Jets in Jersey. That going to do anything for you?
No.
Okay. Then they come back 9 days later. They go to the Commanders.
Once again, that.
Okay. Then on Monday night, they're going to host the Titans.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's impressive.
Then I will say, short week. They then have to host the Jets. So what you're telling me by your silence and your mocking is if they win the next 5 in a row and they're 11-3, you're going to be like, yeah, so? Okay. I just wanted to get it on the record. That's all. So sweeping the Jets. So the fact that they will have swept both the Patriots and the Jets, come on now, it's division games. We know this franchise's history. I'm just saying none of those 5 wins will change your tune on them at all.
No.
Okay. All right. So now,
David, these are games that they will be favored in every single one of the games that you mentioned. Every one.
They should be. Yes.
Unless they lose to a team they're not supposed to lose to, they will be favored in every one of those games.
Correct. Okay, so they're 11-3. Here we go. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, 3rd home game in a row. Christmas Eve, they're hosting the Cowboys.
That would impress me.
It would?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure because, you're not a huge Cowboys Dak guy. And
no, but the Cowboys they're an above-average team. There's no question there. I don't think they're an elite team, but they're an above-average team in the league. They will have a winning record when they play Miami. And if Miami beats them, I will be impressed by that.
Okay. I think we can call Dallas a good team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you said they're above average. That implies C+. I'm trying to give them a B grade of some kind.
Oh, they're B.
Okay.
They're I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah. If you good. Yeah, they're.
All right. Then they're at Baltimore.
That would really impress me.
New Year's Eve, baby, in Baltimore. And then they host the Bills.
And that would impress me because the Bills have their number.
So next 5 games, your full expectation, by the way, is your expectation 11-3? Or do you know deep down you're like 10-4?
Probably 10-4. Because in the NFL, you lose a game you're not supposed to, and that'll happen to Miami.
Although they haven't. That's the beauty of the Dolphins.
I know. And that's the reason I'm saying they're going to lose one, is that there'll be a game in there, probably one of the Jets games. Something will happen.
So
10-4 head into the last 3.
Right, which is hosting Dallas, at Baltimore, hosting Buffalo. There'll be a slight favorite. There'll be an underdog, and it'll be close to a pick 'em. All right. So then with that in mind, they're 6-3. Over, under 11.5 wins.
Under.
Over, under 10.5 wins.
Over.
So you say the Dolphins are going to post 11-6.
Yep.
Okay.
At worst, that could get them a 5.
Which sounds to me like you think, listen, they'll lose one of these next 5 games, even though they shouldn't. So they'll be 10-4 when they begin their Dallas, Baltimore, Buffalo trifecta there. And you think they'll only win one of them. So there you go. Let me ask you this question, though. Dolph fans, say you agree with Mark. And I'll make 2 of those losses division losses. I say you split with the Jets and you lose to Buffalo. So you're 11-6 and your division record's 3-3. Will that be good enough to win the East?
I think that it will. Because the Bills have the Broncos on Monday night.
Right.
Then the Jets.
Right, 6-4, and they'll beat the Jets. They will not be swept by the Jets, so they're 7-4.
At the Eagles.
Now, I will say they're catching the Eagles at a good time. Is it the final Sunday in November or early December? Yeah, that's the week at the Eagles on the Monday before Thanksgiving will have had a Super Bowl rematch in Kansas City. The Eagles are emotionally, they're going to be all in that game, and they're going to have to play a short week Buffalo at home. Buffalo's actually getting them in a good spot.
All right. Then they go at the Chiefs. They're not winning both of those games.
So they split.
At best.
So now they got 5 losses.
Home for the Cowboys.
Okay, we'll just put that aside.
At the Chargers. That's going to be a really big game, by the way.
Yeah,
that could be for a wild card spot.
It could be. Yeah.
Home for the Patriots, at the Dolphins. That game could very well be for the division.
There you go. Sunday Night Football, Buffalo at Miami. Winner wins the East.
Hey, winner wins the East. They may have a rematch either way. It may just be who's hosting the rematch the following week.
Yeah, could be. Could be, but then again, the loser could fall to 10-7 and not be the 5 seed. Could be somebody from the AFC North instead. Winner wins the East, hosts the Bengals. Because the Bengals will be the 5. Wouldn't that be
you're
rich?
probably right that the Ravens are going to be the 1 or the 2.
Yeah.
And the Bengals more than likely will not catch them.
Right.
Could.
And the Bengals will be like, yeah, that's fine. You know how many road playoff games we've won? That's fine. We've won in Kansas City. We won in Buffalo. Where do you want us to play this time? Miami? Oh, hell. That'll be great. Get out of this cold weather. Could you imagine? That's the reward for the Dolphins, by the way, if they win the East. Congratulations, you won the East. Only the second time you've done that in 20 years. What's your reward? Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Hey, I don't care what wild card team you get. You know, if let's just say somehow Miami screws it up, doesn't win the division, and the Bills end up as the 4. Miami ends up as the 6. I mean, you're talking about...
Yeah. Jacksonville, Miami is a first-round game. Yeah. That's fun.
Absolutely.
Talk about good for the show.
Yeah.
That would be wild.
But I just wanted to lay that out, that A, when's the first opportunity for the Dolphins to win a game in which all the Dolphin doubters go, you know what? I got to give it to them. You know, maybe I'll change my mind. But then also just played the schedule game. And you realize how important when the schedule maker gives you a win, you got to go get a win.
Tampa Bay.
What's the difference between the Dolphins and the Bills right now? Bills lost in New England. Dolphins didn't. There you go.
Miller and Moulton. The Diamond District Bonus Hour. Brought to you by our buddies Todd and Jason at the Diamond District. Back with more in a moment on Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other. With a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Canada relief. No, it's not. The last call in Florida is not midnight. Not anywhere close to it. The last call in Miami is like 4.
If you had to pick a preseason champion for college hoops, would you pick?
Oh, you're asking the wrong guy.
It's a crapshoot.
Kansas.
There you go. Kansas, Purdue. A lot of people are saying Purdue.
I wouldn't take Purdue in a million years.
I wouldn't either. Trust me.
I'll take USC before I'll take Purdue.
Yeah. Whoever finishes 6th in the Big 12 has a better chance than Purdue. You see, Purdue just got another 4-star, 7'3".
Did they really?
White kid. Yeah. Just
good for them.
What else is new? Haas, Harms, Edey. Now this kid. Forget his name. Just insert your 7'2".
Big Ten people like college hoop, David.
Love it.
It's nice that somebody still does. It's big in Kentucky. College basketball.
Yep.
New York City. DC area. It's cute.
It's funny how much Big Ten country loves college hoops when they haven't had a national champ since 2000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's funny. They had a football drought like that, too.
Coming back.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We have urged you over the years, and by the way, welcome back, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, blah, 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 blah. Diamond District bonus hour. We're not blah, blah.
That's important. That's important.
Todd and Jason, great staff, incredible selection, the best prices, the best service. I mean, there's a reason they've been kicking you know what for 20 years.
20 years. That's a run.
Yeah. They got together and everybody, you know, takes for granted, quite frankly, what they've done because they were so successful so quickly, kind of like it's an easy thing to do. No, actually, you know, you're working for the big guys and then you go out and do your own thing and you got to take on the big guys. And you got to do it better with better pricing than the big guys.
They opened in that little place in
Oh
Venetian.
my goodness. It was
basically, you know, we joke around and we joke around about the closet that we began here in.
yes, the asbestos closet.
See,
It wasn't a
I
closet.
wasn't going to use that word.
Why?
I'm talking about Todd and Jason. But our closet was an asbestos closet.
Yes, it was. Right.
And we did a show in there for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got our new digs.
Right. By the way, speaking of the asbestos closet, aren't we about 10 years away from like some law firm taking our case, kind of like Camp Lejeune? Okay. Did you tape a show in this asbestos closet? Then you too are probably susceptible to injury and what? No? All right. Digress. So anyway, Todd and Jason, actually a remarkable story, and they don't give themselves enough credit, actually.
No,
for
they
what they've
don't.
done. It's remarkable.
They play the two fun hokey guys.
Yeah,
and
hey, look at us. You know, the odd couple.
It's a hell of a success story. It truly
it's
is.
remarkable. And they still do a great job, obviously, because if they weren't, you wouldn't buy your diamonds from them. So Todd and Jason and Diamond District. So anyway, we urge you to, you know, take in the show occasionally on Twitch, twitch.tv and with the Miller and Moulton channel. So / Miller and Moulton. And if you do, you get us during the commercial breaks. Well, there's been a running topic of conversation during the commercial breaks today because we have a new producer, Trent. And Trent, like Felipe, young, you know, what, 24, Trent?
I will be 24 next Sunday.
Okay.
23.
So, you know,
he's just a pup.
Yeah. So, you know, approaching mid-20s. And Trent, there's a lot about Trent that, you know, we're still patting him on the head about. Like his love of college basketball. Man, he's been talking about it all day. Does he not know what's taken place over the last 48 hours? I mean, the biggest football extravaganza, a spectacular. I mean, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. It's still open. And all day he's been like, yeah, college hoops tonight. Yeah.
Well, it's the start of the season. Come on. And in my defense, I didn't have a Lions game this weekend, so I'm kind of itching a little. Although the Spartans won, but I need the college basketball juices to start flowing, David. It's here, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6 times during the commercial breaks we've gotten that. Only times it by like 5 minutes.
I asked Mark for his pregame pick. He goes, "You're asking the wrong guy."
Yeah, Mark's looking at him going, "What day is it?" "Oh, it's November 6th. "What are you asking me?"
And then Mark proceeded to say Kansas.
Yeah, they're ranked number one. We'll pick Kansas.
Trent, we went on a limb. We were the first show in the country last year, late January. We said the Canes were going to the Final Four. We did.
Nice.
Late January, we called it. We'd watched them play. We'd watched them play. We knew what they brought to the table, and we said, that's a Final Four team. All right, give us till sometime in the NFL playoffs. You know, maybe the week leading up to the Super Bowl, we've got some downtime, and we can say, you know what? We've been watching a few things for 3-4 weeks. We haven't told anybody, and here's what we think.
Hey, that's more than fair. I understand. Football's king. It never won't be. I understand. I love college basketball. You guys got rid of.
We know.
You guys got rid of the NBA shtick with Felipe. Now you're going to usher in college hoops. I hope.
Oh, for goodness sakes! We thought we got rid of it. Golly.
I'll work on them.
Okay, but yes, college basketball. It's underway tonight. I will say, FGCU's opener is in Bloomington, Indiana tomorrow. I'm not being serious here. No more, fun and games. That's going to be a very emotional setting. I mean, Robert Montgomery Knight passed away a week ago. I mean, there will be a dedication. My guess is there will be something on the uniforms. College basketball has arguably you've got the 2,000, 3,000 students, and then you got an old season ticket base, and they worship that man. That is going to be a very emotional setting that FGCU and Pat Chambers are going to have to enter and play in at Assembly Hall. Big Ten Network, by the way, tomorrow night. Pat Chambers will join us in the 9 o'clock hour tomorrow.
College hoop actually gets going early today, 11 a.m. Ooey Pooey starts at 11 a.m. today, David.
Ooey Pooey?
The Jaguars?
Hey, FGCU played them. All right. Mark remembers it very well. That's where I was when I asked Mandich that question. You got all of that from a 3-second cutaway? Mark, is he like this all the time? No. That's where we were. Broadcasting live. FGCU against Ooey Pooey immediately to follow. Yep. So
college hoop gets going tonight. Monday Night Football tonight. Jets and Chargers.
Hey, I'll give you a best bet right now. First college basketball bet of the year. Take USC, lay the 2.5 against Kansas State. Kansas State's missing 2 of their 3 best players.
Great bet, David. 100%. Back it up.
USC is the top 20
Backing
team.
up the truck on USC.
I'm not backing up the truck. I'm just saying.
I that was misleading. I meant I backed David up on that.
I'm just saying. It's on paper, Kansas State, an Elite 8 team from a year ago, but they lost their 2 best players off that team, and their 2 best returning players are not playing tonight. Just saying. USC, 2.5-point favorite. Okay. Best player on the floor is going to be playing for USC. He's a senior guard. I'm just going with USC, laying the 2.5. That's all. Remember, Andy in his opener last year lost at home to FGCU.
Right. A little pressure on him this year. He doesn't want to do that again.
Right. So, and they've got some injuries to start the year. They're not 100%, the Trojans, but that's who I'm taking tonight. That's my college basketball play of the day. See, Trent, you happy?
Beaming. Very, very good. Again, I'm not delusional. I understand football's king. I'll be watching Monday Night Football tonight. But it's kind of a point of demarcation for me. Like the way the sports calendar works for me, this is when we really start heating up because NFL's in full swing.
This is when we start heating up?
This is when I start heating up because NFL's in full
there
swing.
We go. Now I'm glad we made that line of demarcation here.
Yeah, I'm not dragging you into this. I'm sorry.
Right. By the way, I just told myself a joke while you were talking. You said, I'll be watching Monday Night Football. And I said to myself, well, I hope I am too. But
and I just thought that'll make 2 of you.
Right.
Lightning and Leafs for me.
There you go.
But I can get a period and a half of that in before you guys even get before kickoff.
Well, listen, there's as much Zach Wilson. Only watch the game when Justin Herbert has the ball against the best defense in the league. There's no reason to watch the game when the other guy's got the ball.
Actually, there is, to find out if the Chargers have a defense at all, because if they do, he should do nothing.
Oh, that's true. He's playing the Chargers defense. He may actually throw for 200 yards tonight.
And the Chargers will run it. I mean, the Jets should be able to run it on him too, because the Chargers defense, despite a lot of stars, isn't very good.
By the way, huge Austin Eckler night. All right. Running backs do in receiving do very well against the Jets. Just saying. For you fantasy players out there, big Austin Eckler night. All right? You heard it here.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd, with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
If you're Mike Vrabel, would you really leave the Titans for the Patriots? First off, do you really want to follow in Belichick's footsteps? Resume is pretty good, even if he is leaving it a mess. Secondly,
it would be him, right?
Mac Jones or Will Levis? Who would you rather have going forward? You've got to make the call right now. It's your career. Who would you rather have going forward? Mac Jones or Will Levis?
Levis.
Well, even if you rule it a push, it's not enough reason to leave. Also, it's Nashville to Foxborough. Anybody ever spend any time in and around those two cities?
Well, here's what's going to be interesting, because do you think Kraft would want to stick with that shtick that Vrabel has after Belichick, or do you think he would try to go like young West Coast offense type deal?
I think he'd go Vrabel,
because he tried to get rid of Belichick, right? A couple times.
No, Belichick tried to get rid of Brady.
Well, yeah, right. He wanted Jimmy G, and then it spiraled from there. But I think that's the interesting thing is, like, does Kraft want to stick with that old school trenches type thing? I don't know. David, that's a good point, though. I don't think Vrabel will do it. He'll stay in Nashville. Plus, you're leaving.
Boy, that's a kick in the stones to Kraft when Kraft reaches out and Vrabel says, no, I'm not interested. Sorry, Mr. Kraft. I'm going to stay in Nashville.
You can have Matt Patricia.
And work for this family.
Getting a new stadium in Nashville. Also, Vrabel's got a pretty big voice and personnel in Nashville now.
The media there is pretty split on him, though. I will tell you that.
On Vrabel?
Yeah. I mean, by now. Obviously, I liked him a lot at the beginning, but.
Here's the thing about compensation. In theory, yes, you'd have to give Kraft compensation. But think about it. If Kraft fires Belichick, he's got to pay him. So if you're offering to take Belichick off his hands, okay, yes, he gets no compensation, but B, you save millions of dollars. Maybe $20 million. So my guess is Kraft would let him go at this stage.
Ran into one of my Patriot buddies Friday. I hadn't seen him. He just got back down. He's like, it's time for him to go. And it wasn't like, get rid of him. It's time. Chocolate chip cookies?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Belichick would take a job somewhere else?
Oh, David thinks he's in Washington. He said that in July.
May.
How many wins is he away from
May,
Shula?
yeah.
3 years.
30? Yeah, 30-something.
Yeah. Yes. Belichick has no hobbies. He doesn't play golf. He fishes a little bit.
Washington, huh?
The new owners. Big splash.
Big splash.
And Lombardi went there.
Yeah, people forget that. Lombardi took a year. He stopped coaching. He was GM for a year in Green Bay. He became GM coach in Washington.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network, 6 to 9, 9 to 10, exclusively the Diamond District bonus hour for our loyal audience in Southwest Florida. And we thank you very much for being with us all these years, 17 and counting. On this first Monday in November, college basketball season gets underway tonight, Monday Night Football tonight. But Mark's got some unfinished business.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1860, Lincoln elected as the 16th president of the United States.
I'd say we got that one right.
1869, today was the first U.S. college football game. Rutgers 6, Princeton 4.
Yep, they've been dominating the Big Ten East ever since.
Benjamin Harrison elected in 1888. McKinley elected in 1900. Herbert Hoover elected in 1928. FDR reelected in 1940. David's favorite show, Meet the Press, debuted today in 1947.
Well, it was. And when Russert was there, it was amazing.
We won the Ryder Cup today in 55. Ike was reelected today in 56. The Sex Pistols had their very first performance at St. Martin's College in London today in 75. Reagan was reelected in 84 today. Holyfield beat Bo today in 1993. Art Modell officially announces the Cleveland Browns are moving to Baltimore today in 1995. And Barack Obama was reelected today in 2012. Walter Johnson.
I was just going to say, and we've joked about it, and I know it's not funny to the Cleveland sports fan, but it's the way you have to negotiate. Modell had no intention of signing the deal to move the Browns to Baltimore. He was trying to use Baltimore, and he was going to take it and put it on the table and say to Cleveland, it's now or never. I have a deal with Baltimore. But he was trying to stay in Cleveland, and Baltimore looked right at him and said, if you get off the plane without signing this document, we're done.
Walter Johnson, Pat Dye, Ray Perkins, and Glenn Fry, all born today. Actress Sally Field, 77.
They love me. They really love me. You know, she won multiple Oscars and is a great actress, and that's what we reduced her to. That's not right.
Did she do anything good after Smokey and the Bandit?
Some would argue whether or not she was good in Smokey and the Bandit. But,
stop it. Movie should have won an Oscar.
Well, it got at least a People's Choice Award.
What did I miss, David?
Oh, it's just nothing really. I mean, you know, what De Leon was to Florida, Cabeza de Vaca was to Texas. The Spanish explorer landed there today 495 years ago in 1528. So there.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Stovall, North Carolina for the good, where Brian Hicks said his left hand was itching. So he decided to visit Rosemart and buy himself a locked lottery ticket. My left hand started itching so bad, the closer I got to the store, I just said, let me try something here. It was like telling me to stop. So Hicks selected a $20 big cash payout ticket and won $100,000. God, wow. I need an itchy left hand. For the bad, we stay in North Carolina, where Friday an 18-wheeler overturned carrying a load of logs, and they were spilled all over US 321. Fortunately, no one was injured, but it took several hours to clear the logs from the roadway. And finally, the ugly, we come back to Lee County, where someone was selling a human skull at a thrift shop.
Wow.
The North Fort Myers shopper spotted a skull and recognized it as a human skull. The store owner said the skull had been in a storage unit and was purchased years ago. Now Lee County Sheriff's Office is working with the local medical examiner to run further tests on the skull. They do not believe the case is suspicious in nature.
I was going to say, man, that would, how much do you pay? Wait, who did I get? You bought Harry. Yeah, Harry Bavacqua.
Oh, I thought it was Harry or Meghan.
No. Hey, listen, Travis or Taylor, Harry or Meghan, you decide.
And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Harry and Meghan, of course. On today, November the 6th, 2023.
Hey, Taylor and Brittany Mahomes and Selena Gomez and another actress, they went out on the town in New York City over the weekend. They're becoming best buds. BFFs. Swift and Brittany Mahomes there. It's just joining the family. Think about how cool that had to be for Brittany Mahomes. She thinks she's a big deal. She's a big deal in Kansas City. She's out in New York City with Taylor Swift, Selena Gomez, and one of her other actress friends.
Yeah, she just went from D-list to A-list.
Got that right. Yeah, that's Kathy Griffin to Taylor Swift right there.
Got that right.
Yeah. I mean, she's texting her husband going, you think you're a big deal. Okay, let me tell you who I'm out with and where I am. Good luck tomorrow. I'm having fun tonight.
Grandma must have been watching the kids.
That's how that works. What do we have? Hey, have you heard college basketball starts tonight?
Does it ever? 6 million games.
Yes. I think Miami's the only Florida school that's playing. Am I wrong about that?
I think North Florida plays as well.
Oh, okay. I know Miami's playing NJIT.
But North Florida's playing College of Coastal Georgia.
Coastal Georgia?
College of Coastal Georgia, yes.
Wow. I
Right.
thought that was called Savannah. Anyway. 12 NBA games tonight. Both the Magic and Heat are playing. The Magic are hosting Luka and Dallas. They've only lost one so far this year. Hey, LeBron and the Lakers visiting the Heat tonight. If you're interested, 7:30 NBA TV. 4 NHL games. Mark's watching Toronto and Tampa Bay. There's also Columbus and Florida. So both Florida teams in action. There's 4 games tonight, and both the Lightning and Panthers are 2 of them. All right, Monday Night Football. Chargers and Jets.
I'll lay the 3.5 and take the Chargers.
Of course you will. It's the Chargers.
You're damn right it is.
You are dying on this hill.
And I've already died. Fortunately, I'm a cat when it comes to the Chargers, and I have 9 lives.
Well, you're about 7.5 in.
You're damn right.
All right. Well, you know how I feel about Zach Wilson. And so there's a part of me that's like, well, I can't actually take Zach Wilson's team in a bet. I mean, he's the worst quarterback I think I've ever seen. But with Zach Wilson, I do get the team that I think has the best defense in the league.
Wait a minute. I need to call a quick 20 since it's the first day of college basketball season. I need a 20-second timeout. Zach Wilson's the worst quarterback you've ever seen. Didn't you see Nathan Peterman live?
I did.
I know.
I did.
That's why I'm asking. Nathan Peterman, Zach Wilson.
Okay. Here's the thing. Nathan Peterman, who threw all those interceptions in a half, if Zach Wilson had the play calling that Nathan Peterman had, like he had to throw the ball the 24 times and he had to throw it downfield, I think Zach Wilson could easily equal the destruction that was Nathan Peterman. Easily. But Salah knows, he's terrible. Dump it off to the back. And Breece Hall, preferably. He's really fast.
He's really good.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's funny. The Jets have a better record. The Chargers are seen as the better team. How many games do we think Robert Saleh has a head coaching advantage in, huh? I'm telling you, this game's actually, it's interesting tonight in a very twisted way.
21-18 is what they're telling us in the desert.
Jets have won 3 in a row. The Chargers always lose when they're supposed to win.
You're taking the Jets, aren't you?
I really am. And here's why. I've watched that defense beat Josh Allen and the Bills from behind, by the way. Bills had a 2-score lead. They literally could have handed the ball off and punted the rest of the day and won. And the Chargers would do the same thing. I could see the Chargers getting up tonight. And Justin Herbert, they'll lure Justin Herbert to make the same mistakes that Josh Allen did. And the Chargers defense is not that good. I do think Eckler has a big game, though, running and receiving. I do, especially receiving. But yeah, put it this way. I'll definitely take the 3.5. There's a part of me that thinks the game's going to end in a tie.
I think the Chargers defense scores.
Oh. Okay.
So I like the Chargers. I'd lay the 3.5.
I'll take the points.
At least that makes it. You know what? Now I've got a reason to watch. You've got one side, I've got the other.
Let me throw this at you guys. I need 10 points on a Keenan Allen to win my fantasy.
Oh, you
matchup.
won.
Well, he's going to get sauce on him, right? All night? Or no? I don't know.
Sauce doesn't travel a lot.
That's correct. Yeah. So I don't.
Okay, not until late. Sauce only travels if he thinks you're an elite wide receiver.
Can I get Allen?
Allen isn't. I think he's elite.
You think he's the top 10 receiver in the league?
He's really
that's
close.
That's who Sauce would travel for.
Right, but Allen catches 13 balls a game, and Sauce may want to stop that. I still like your 10 points. I mean, I still think he's going to do 5 for 64 in a bad game.
I hope so.
I, of course, just want to see what uniforms the Chargers come out in, because they have the best uniforms in the league.
Well, isn't that's the genesis of Mark's Chargers 9 Lives, right? Is the uniforms or no?
It really is.
The powder blue. I go back for the Chargers a long time. Go back since the early 80s. I've liked the Chargers.
Mark also, he didn't say this at the time that we started doing the show together, but he will call them the San Diego Chargers until they start winning consistently. He's not giving them the respect because they haven't earned it. So he continues still. He did it earlier this year. You did. You called them the San Diego Chargers.
I'm good for 2 a year.
You are. And they've been in Los Angeles now like half a decade.
Boy, I bet you guys did a great job adjusting to the Washington football team situation a couple of years ago.
Never had a problem with that. The Chargers, I've had a problem. Don't ask me why. I've had a problem with.
Well, they ditched their fan base. That's a good start. Left them high and dry.
And outside of that one crazy woman in the stands, they don't have any fans in Los Angeles.
Not a one. No worry about it. No worry when the Chargers come to your town about a team traveling.
And also,
they don't even travel to Los Angeles.
It's why the Chargers are not a bad road team, because they don't play any home games.
Yeah, that gets talked about, but I still feel like it doesn't get talked about enough. They play 17 road games a year. That's tough.
Hey, listen, we talked about it. It's a bummer for the Raiders. The Raiders had a home field advantage in the mausoleum there in Oakland. It was a dump, and it was their dump, and teams didn't like playing in it. They didn't like dressing in it. The black hole, the whole deal. Vegas, 1/3 of the crowd's the road team, no matter who's playing there.
And Vegas is still the most popular pro football team in Los Angeles.
Yes, they are.
I don't think it's close.
It actually might be the Cowboys.
Okay.
I mean, if they lose the top spot, Mark, it may only be to the Cowboys, not to the Rams, but to the Cowboys.
And the Niners are a close third.
Yeah, with the Rams, fourth.
Miller and Moulton. Pat Kerwin on the show tomorrow. We thank you so much for listening. We'll do it all over again, 6 a.m. Where else? But right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.